No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.
Hi everybody, got a microphone, it's working. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name's Mike, this is my YouTube page Mox News, and welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie, and tonight I have many videos prepared for you, but first we have to make sure that we understand America is on alert. The terror threat is higher than ever. Didn't you know about March 4th? Haven't you heard? That's the day the rebels, the domestic terrorists, they're going to try and insert Donald Trump back into the White House. Haven't you been paying attention? These people are insane. And I'm not talking about the people that are talking about Donald Trump. That we got to get Donald Trump back. I'm talking about the people that are like, oh, these people, they're a threat to all of humanity. Those people, the Sean Hannitys and Aaron Burnett's of the world, they are a threat to all of us. They are the real threat. Every single day, they terrorize us. They tell us how Iran is coming to get us. And we don't want the smoking gun to come in the shape of a mushroom cloud. Over and over and over again. This is what they sell us endlessly. And right now, we're just going to hear this push for war with Iran. And it's kind of scary because Trump did a lot of saber rattling with Iran, but it just looks like what I hear is Iran. Trump is like, oh, we're going to put the aircraft carrier off the coast of Iran, But now it's like, oh, we got a bomb. Oh, we got to show Iran who's boss. We can't let Iran get away with this shit. And we're going to hear this, and we're going to hear it, and we're going to hear it. And again, I want to make clear, Iran has attacked no one, for what I understand, for hundreds of years. And by I mean they haven't started a war with anyone. They didn't, but they've been preparing one. They've been preparing for one, I should say, because Every day for the last 50 years, America has made clear that Iran is in our sights, and we will, just as soon as we possibly can, go to war with them. And that's the government that we have. Clearly, it's being shown over and over and over. And I myself am quite tired of being covered in the war, in the blood of the war profiteers. You know, and also I really want to point this out. Supposedly there was an attack, a rocket attack in Iraq yesterday, late last night our time, and supposedly, this is the same place that supposedly Iran attacked, months ago, and they say no one was killed by the rocket attack itself, but later a contractor died from a heart attack. Now, I want to make sure that you understand what a contractor is, because a contractor is not someone with a hammer and nails building places for soldiers to live. That is not what a contractor is. A contractor is a mercenary, a gun for hire. They kill people for money, an assassin. Okay? So if a mercenary dies in the battlefield, well, they get paid 10 times what our soldiers get paid. They're working on the same base, doing similar jobs. They get paid 10 times as much by the same motherfucking piece of shit government. Now, if a mercenary gets killed on the battlefield, well, that mercenary chose to be there, chose not to work with our regular chain of command, chose to go to a private company to go out and fight war solely for the fact that they could make more money. So, if that's why you're going into a war theater, is because you can make a lot of money there, not because you're desperate and there's no other way for your children to be able to go to school, for your children to get health care, because I don't know what kind of benefits the people that are contractors get. I'm sure they get very good benefits. But the soldiers, these are the people that need a proper pay increase, because if it's worth $1,500 a day to have some piece of shit mercenary over in the war theater, paid for with your tax dollars by your government, if it's worth it to have some piece of shit mercenary get 10 times as much pay, then I think our soldiers, our mothers and fathers, our brothers and sisters, our sons and daughters deserve the same pay. And then we won't have a need for the fucking piece of shit mercenaries anymore. And their fucking piece of shit companies like Blackwater. Okay? Those people deserve to go to prison for the rest of their lives because they think it's okay to make money by killing little children. Okay? So in order to make the world a safer place, everyone's world, we all live in the same fucking world. Okay? And you don't want mercenaries walking around your children regardless which side they fucking are on. Okay? Soldiers are different. They have a commitment. They take a vow to try and keep Americans safe. Okay? I don't think mercenaries take the same vow. Do you? They have a vow to make as much money as they possibly can, and anybody that gets in their way, they'll shoot in the face. That's who mercenaries are. Okay? So I'm not going to fucking cry a single tear for a piece of shit mercenary who chooses to go into a war theater because it can make a bunch of money. Okay? Not for 1 second. Doesn't matter which side they're on. Never, ever will I. Now, that being said, again, we're going to see this push for war with Iran because one of our contractors got killed. again, push for war with Iran. Push. I don't know, oh no, we're gentler, kinder kind of fucking war machine. Fuck you. Stop with the drums of war. I'm tired of it. How much do you possibly think people can take? We've done it for the last 20 years. Every single fucking day. The terrorists. Iran, Russia, China. They're all coming for us. Everyone in the world wants to destroy America. I'm so scared right now. America on alert. This is who our government and our news media, this is what they're doing to our people. This is what they're doing to our country. This is what they're doing to our psyches. I say fuck this government. I say fuck these politicians. They must all go to prison, okay? Because they vote to keep these wars endlessly going. I don't give a fuck if they're using mercenaries, contractors or what. If they are paying people to go in and make war in another country, they are keeping these wars going. And why? Because as we were informed yesterday on this show, they make money off of it. Lots of money in numerous different ways. That who is Nancy Pelosi. That is who Dianne Feinstein is. That is who Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, Chuck Schumer, every piece of shit up there who votes to keep the wars going forever. They make money. And that includes the motherfucking drug war. Okay? The motherfucking drug war is just as profitable as these fucking bullshit Pentagon wars. Based on lies for the sole purpose of making people like Dick Cheney even more rich than he ever dreamed. Oh, and by the way, the drug war, of which there are plenty of war profiteers, including the majority of members of Congress, the drug war is a war on Americans. And it's a completely failed war. And it's a war that's been going on for what, 50, 60 years now? How much longer are you guys going to support a war on Americans that has completely failed and brought your children a fucking heroin epidemic? Okay? Yeah, we gotta support the Democrats are the good guys. No, the Republicans are the good guys. No. Fuck you. Are you that stupid that you think one side or the other is actually on your side? I know you're not. Okay? And you have to stop acting like it. Okay? You can't be like, oh, this side's better than that side. No, they're not. They're exactly the motherfucking same. They're the same people that are keeping these wars going forever. These wars based on life, just like the drug war. The drug war is based completely on life. Oh, we have to think of the children. We have to protect the children. There's a motherfucking heroin epidemic in this motherfucking country. And it's 100% because of the drug war. Pull your heads from your asses and figure it out. How long are you going to support this shit? Your children deserve better than stupid people who can't figure it out as guidance, as role models, like every single motherfucking member of Congress. But they got it figured out. You know how they got it figured out? Hey, as long as we keep this drug war going, we make lots and lots of money. Who cares about fucking 12-year-olds ODing in the fucking street? All that matters is that we keep our positions of power and we keep the people under the thumb of the police state. That's who our government is. How long are you going to fucking join along and act like one side or the other is the good guys, is the people that are on your side fighting for you? I can't believe that anybody can be that moronic. Okay, because at this point, it should be clear to everyone. There is no one in Washington, D.C., in Congress, in the White House that is on your side. Unless, of course, you're a war profiteer or a drug war profiteer. Same fucking thing, making money off of people's misery. Then there might be fighting for you. or maybe you're a for-profit medicinal, medical industrial complex, for-profit medical industrial complex profiteer, huh? Does that sound good? Let's do that. Yeah, making money off people's misery. Okay, that's a great plan. Let's go with that. We can have a better world, but we have to recognize the enemy. We have a common enemy, a very, very common enemy. Every single one of you and I share the exact same enemy, and we really only have one, and it's not Iran. And it's not Russia, and it's not China, it's not Yemen, it's not Iraq. It's the people in Washington, D.C., and their ever-expanding police state. They are the only people that is an actual threat to your personal freedom. It is an actual threat to your children. Them and their drug war, which creates this black market, which makes it so that your children could be slipped a Xanax with fentanyl and fucking die. That's what the drug war gives you. Okay, so if you want to protect your children, tell them the truth about cannabis and do everything in your power to end the drug war now. Otherwise, you're helping the heroin epidemic continue. That's the facts, Jack. The meth epidemic will go on forever if we don't stop the drug war. I guess some people are just good with that. If we stop the drug war, all these people dying in the streets will not be there anymore. They'll be able to get help. And if they need some place to go do drugs, they'll be able to get help and get up off the streets and go do their drugs, because it's not illegal for them to do their drugs. And you know what? When we get them off the streets and put them somewhere to live, it's going to be so much less expensive. So much less expensive than the crime and the disease and all the garbage that's spread by this ugly fucking drug war / black market, which is 100% created by the drug war, which is 100% consciously created by Congress. They know they create the black market. They know the black market is killing children everywhere back and forth against the country, and they do everything in their power to keep it firmly in place. You guys are aware of this. You've seen it. You're not new today. Okay? So, I know we can do better. And I'm not going to stop fighting for a better tomorrow until I'm done. Until I walk away or whatever it is, go swim off into the Puget Sound. Okay? I'm not going to stop fighting, and I haven't ever stopped fighting. And as long as you've known me here on YouTube, I've fought and fought and fought. And if you don't know that, it's because you're not trying. You don't care. So, let's play a video about America on alert, shall we? I like to start here with number 10, please. Number 10.
Also breaking now, a federal judge just ruled Ethan Nordine, a member of the Proud Boys here in King County, can be released from SeaTac Federal Prison ahead of his trial. Nordine is facing federal charges after investigators say he helped lead the attack that turned deadly on the U.S. Capitol back in January. So Nordine will be subject to electronic monitoring, confined to his home with a few exceptions. And new court documents filed this week, prosecutors say the 30-year-old was nominated to have, quote, war powers and to take ultimate leadership of activities the Proud Boys are accused of being involved in on January 6th. The attack happened as lawmakers were preparing to certify the results of the presidential election. KOMO's Patrick Quinn will have the very latest in a live report coming up at 4 o'clock.
This case very closely. Patrick, this is not what government attorneys wanted.
Not at all. And now this case is the United States of America versus Ethan Nordean. And just about an hour ago, Chief Judge Beryl Howell, she ruled that what Nordean did on January 6th, she said was, quote, offensive. However, she said the U.S. government did not provide enough evidence to keep Nordean in jail up to his trial. Now, right now, he is again at SeaTac. We're trying to learn more information on when exactly he will be released. He's been there since February 3rd, and there are a number of conditions. No guns, no drugs. When he is eventually released and allowed to go back home to his Auburn home, he's pretty much on house arrest. Besides, if he works, he's confined to Western Washington. He'll be monitored electronically. Now, Nordean will have to go to trial where he will face criminal charges for his role in the insurrection. U.S. attorneys alleging he was a leader in the attack on the Capitol. A judge today found some of their claims unsubstantiated, at least not valid enough to keep him in jail. The case against him grew even before today's detention hearing, though, where we found out a grand jury did indict Nordean and two other Proud Boys for their role in the insurrection. Now, I did reach out to U.S. attorneys just after today's hearing and asked if they plan to appeal this ruling by the judge. I have not heard back yet. I'm also scheduled to talk with Nordean's attorney on the significance of this release and when exactly they plan for him to go home. Also, we're also looking into the trial date of when Nordean will actually be in trial. Remember, this was just a detention hearing on whether or not he has to stay in prison or could be released. He will face those criminal charges in a D.C. court at some point, likely later this month. Mary?
Patrick, before you go, what flaws did the judge find with the U.S. attorney?
Right. The U.S. government, they allege a lot about Nordean, that not that he wasn't just at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, but that he was one of the leaders of the Proud Boy. They said that he helped orchestrate the attack on the U.S. Capitol, both leading up to January 6th and day of. They said he was among those who would lurk around the Capitol to find weak spots to help get people inside. However, the judge again said there's just not enough evidence. He wasn't armed. There's no evidence that was provided that he injured anybody. There was no evidence that he damaged any of the buildings himself. So this will be interesting how this plays out during the criminal court hearing itself on if there's enough there of him being a leader, an alleged leader in this, to actually convict him for these charges. If he is convicted, he could face up to 20 years behind bars. And again, this is developing. We're just learning a lot of this in the last hour or so. We'll have more coming up on KOMO tonight. Mary?
Thank you very much, Patrick. A live look now at the U.S. Capitol tonight, where law enforcement is bracing for a potential attack. Capitol Police and the FBI say they've seen increasing chatter among extremist militia groups and right-wing conspiracy theorists about a plot to breach the Capitol building tomorrow. The building is still surrounded by non-scalable fencing topped with razor wire, and about 5,000 National Guard troops remain on site. House lawmakers will not be in session tomorrow as a precaution. Well, this comes as we learn more about the delay in the National Guard response on January 6th. The commander of the D.C. National Guard testified before Congress today, saying he immediately asked for approval to deploy troops minutes before rioters broke into the building around 1:50 p.m. that day. But he says his request was met with pushback and was not approved by the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of the Army until after 5 p.m., more than 3 hours later.
The Army senior leaders did not think that it looked good, it would be a good optic. That number could have made a difference. We could have helped extend the perimeter and help push back the crowd.
Since the insurrection, more than 300 people have been charged for their role in the Capitol attack.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to take a bong hit if anybody wants to join me. I think that it's very, 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 very good, very interesting news that a federal judge released this Washington January 6th protester because they said the government did not make their case for not releasing him. In other words, the government didn't show that he's actually a threat to the community. The government didn't show that he's actually a flight risk. So basically the government has nothing on these people, and they're like, oh, domestic terrorism, America on alert. Oh, and Congress canceled work tomorrow because the threat level is so high. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you would like to be able to cancel work tomorrow because the threat level is so high too, especially with your 11-foot razor wire fence around your place of business. The threat level is so high. All right, so on the brighter side, on the brighter side, a second seed bank that I was really, really looking forward to having to be able to grow some of their genetics. A second seed bank has written back to say that they would like to participate in my summer garden. So I'm thinking that when I start to get these seeds, I think this is an interesting idea. When I start to get these seeds, I'll show you guys which seeds I'm getting. And then if you want to grow along with me, I'm not going to start the summer garden until April 20th. So I think, it takes less than 3 weeks to get the seeds. So I'll show you guys what I'm getting. And then if you guys want to grow along with me the same thing, legally, hopefully you'll be able to grow legally in your state. And if you wanted to do that, I'm going to grow autoflowers, and they can grow outside on a balcony. You don't have to have a big space. They're not giant plants. I'm going to grow autoflowers, and they can grow in the sun. They're simple. You don't have to worry about getting a light and timers and all this complicated stuff. So I'm going to grow autoflowers, and I'll show you what it is I'm going to grow. And then if you guys want to grow along with me, this summer, you can be able to send us pictures of the progress of your plants, and then we'll add them along with our gardening videos, and maybe on our live shows too. Oh, here's some pictures of beautiful flowers sent to us by William. I was never here. I think is a good idea. I like the idea. I feel like this is a community, and I like the idea of us kind of, those who would like to, being able to participate in things I am doing. And that's why we have a call-in show, in case you're wondering, because I want you guys to be able to participate other than just typing away at, a keyboard, So I'm thinking we're going to call it Mox News Quest for the Perfect Strain, right? Quest for the perfect strain for me. And we're going to look at lots and lots of strains. I'm hoping to grow 15 different strains this summer. I'm hoping. We'll see. If one or two more seed banks say yes, we'll probably have more seeds than we'll be able to grow in the next 2 years. So I'm hoping to grow 15 strains, hopefully. And it seems like it would be fun. I'll show you guys what I plan on growing, show you where I got it from, and then if you want to grow along with Moxie, you'll be able to do that. And like I said, you can send pictures, and we'll put them on the videos. Oh, this picture is from Jackie Cat. Jackie Cat will send pictures of mushrooms, I'm sure. And we can put them on the video, on our gardening videos. I think that would be really fun, and that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. So my other plan is to do a live call-in show, and unfortunately that doesn't seem to be working out so well. because we're not getting any phone callers. The number is, you guys can see the number on the screen, right? You understand what call-in show means. I know it's this thing that doesn't really happen on YouTube. People just sit here and respond to the chat. I'm not going to sit here and respond to the chat. I'm just not going to do that. But I will give you the opportunity to participate in the show if you'd like. Because I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. And I have more videos. Again, I come prepared, people. Okay? I know. the Iran threat is growing. The Iran threat is growing. Ever-growing Iran threat. Kennedy destroyed Joy Behar this evening. I have that for you. And I have a thing about drones around airports and Congress canceling sessions tomorrow because they're so afraid. I'm so afraid right now. Hello, caller.
Hey, what's happening? Thomas Sanders, 100 Black. I heard you talking about that weed, man. Now, what in the world is that you're talking about? Some type of flower?
Oh, autoflowers. See, usual marijuana, generally, when you grow it like 18 hours, and then when you want it to start flowering, you have to change the light cycle to 12 hours on and 12 hours off. But with autoflowers, you can have, they flower under whatever the lighting is. So if it's 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, they don't care. They're just going to go ahead and do their thing.
I'm just trying to figure out, okay, do you remember, I don't think you remember this, but do you remember, say, between whenever up until like around 1990, people grew weed and the police weren't even thinking about it?
They grew weed and what?
And the police weren't even thinking about it, the government weren't even thinking about it?
It didn't seem like such a big priority, that's for sure. I think...
Yeah, because now...
that was around the time, like just a few years earlier, that Joe Biden introduced the crime bill and all of that, and they really ramped up the war on drugs. Go ahead. Yeah,
because I'm being from East Palo Alto, man. I mean, there's weed all around the place. I mean, I was going to church. Okay, I was a Christian. Well, let me see how would I say this? I joined the Christian League for a minute.
Yeah.
So, majority of those people were smoking weed, and I didn't even know it because I was young, and then like 15, 16, you go visit them.
Yeah.
They got a case of beer over here, then they got some weed.
Yeah.
Okay. You smoke weed? They let me have a beer. You smoke weed? No, not quite yet. I didn't really start smoking weed till I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I go over to somebody's house, and they're like, Tom, go out there and pick a couple of them weeds. What the hell are they talking about? I go out, man, they have like a 12-foot bush on the side of the house.
Nice.
And, yeah, I mean, it was all over the place. And now me and some friends, when Bud came through, we stopped smoking, we were smoking like the shake and homegrown, basically leaves, flat leaves. And there was some pretty good stuff then. But then when the buds came through, it was like me and some friends, we grew some in the backyard, man. I mean, we had weed forever, and it smelled so damn good. But it was in the sun.
Yeah.
We grew it from seedlings, and we put it in the sun. It was in the sun 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how nature intended, and that's how you're always going to get, like, not necessarily the most compact, buds, but you're going to get ones that smell and taste amazing that way,
Oh, man, when it smells like a sweet Christmas tree or something like that. But nice. Now, here we go with this. I don't think we're going to how do you find, Oaxacan, how do you find that good shit anymore? Like Oaxacan, Colombian, Panama, Thai stick. How do you find that?
Man,
that stuff.
When I was a kid, when I was 16, I had this Thai stick, and it was about a stick around as like a quarter, like and oh man, I could only take like 2 puffs of that shit, and I was just done. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, when I hadn't had any more like this. They would come around with some stuff called Thai stick, but no, it was too much like Colombian or something. But I went over the bridge. If you ever been in the Bay Area, like you got the Dunbar Bridge, me and some friends was going across there, And so we met this guy who was going to buy some weed. We shot some craps and stuff like that. I won all the money, never played craps in my life.
Right on.
And we walked out of there real peaceful. But when I took a hit of that Thai stick, coming back over that bridge, man, I've never seen the sun set so pretty.
Yeah, that was,
You know?
and that was like 30, 40 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 40 more like 40-some years ago.
Yeah. I hear you.
Where do you ever get seeds for that kind of stuff?
Well, some of the stuff that I'm looking at now, they call, they have a word for it, some kind of like old school genetics, you know, but it's not old school.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
but there's people who've been breeding seeds and plants and stuff for many, many generations now. And,
Okay.
and they have a lot of stuff that's available. What you want to do is, you can type in, to Google, cannabis seeds. But if you go to, there's this place called Grow Diaries, and if you type in Grow Diaries into the Google and go to that website, what you'll find is, they have like almost all the plants that are available in seed form. Everybody goes there and they post a journal of like week by week, just pictures usually of the plant growing, and you can see, and and there's thousands of people growing there, and it's really cool. So, and it's all about the seed banks. It's all about this seed came out this way. It's nobody's growing clones. They're all growing from seed. So it's very, very and in that way you can find what looks the best to you,
Yeah, because now I also grow vegetables. Right now I got some seedlings growing.
Nice.
Got some collard green.
Awesome.
I have some collard green and let me see what else I got. Tomatoes. And what I did, I wasn't thinking for a while. I said a hothouse. What I did, I went to Walmart and got those, those big plastic bins.
Mm-hmm.
And I put them in there. I'm using that as a hothouse. The next time I grow some weed, because I'm up here in Martinez, I tried to grow 2 seeds last year. It got up to like maybe about 1.5 inches, and they just went to hell.
Huh.
But I've started seeds before, and they did well. But I think what I'm going to have to do this time is, until it's actually April, until it's warm, I don't know when to start growing. When do I start growing marijuana?
I'm going to start, for outdoors, I'm going to start like April 20th. But I'm going to start indoors. I'm going to start indoors for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'm going to move them outdoors. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna try it again. This time I'm using, like I said, I'm gonna use the bins as more of a hothouse so they can get some sun.
Yeah.
But those bins cost like maybe $5-10.
Sure.
And you've got the height, so you can let it get a little height.
Yeah. Yeah, and they like the humidity when they're warm too. They like the humidity that when they're little. They like the humidity and the extra warmth. So that makes sense.
Well, see that makes a lot of okay. Well, that's what I'm going to do, because my next door neighbor, he broke me off. Everything we're smoking pretty much is all natural. I mean, there's no pesticides on it or anything like that.
Yeah. It's nice to know. It's nice to know that when you grow your own, that you know what went into it, as opposed to when these commercial people are growing it. You got no idea what they're putting on it or anything. Yeah,
because as far as I'm concerned, they can limit us. They can say, okay, well, so much for people that are not on a, what they call like some type of health card or something like that, and say, well, if anybody's gonna smoke weed, grow your own. I have no problem with that. Grow your own shit. You know what I'm saying? So then leave all the rest of it, but make sure that wherever they sell, it's true stuff. But you just don't know what you're getting out of there, really. You just
everything in Washington State is tested by independent labs, and it's supposed to be very professional, state-run stuff. But I think that again, it's just a matter of I just don't think that the people who are growing it have like the same, commercially have like the same feel for like when you're looking at the plant and you're like talking to I talk to all the plants, I touch them, and I give them names and stuff.
So you got to get that. You got to sync yourself with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that honestly that I've said this in the past, that I think that the plants like identify with you in a way. It's like they, they somehow bond with you, so to speak, and it's like they kind of understand who you are, and they understand that this is medicine for you, and then it's almost like they grow it specifically for you. You know, I know I know that sounds very fucking like, oh yeah, oh sure, but
no, go on out there. That's the thing about it. You know, we're like we were talking about before. I said, you know, to me it seems like a lot of people are inside of a glass. They're looking out. They see the facts. But that one, you know, let alone the solidness of the glass, but it's like they have this barrier that don't allow them to think outside of it. They're within this system right here that's been given to them to think. So as I actually check out a lot, I do a lot of YouTube, checking out various things. I'm not distracted by a lot of stuff. I can tell what's up. But the fact is, there's a lot that we need to know that we lost from way back. So to be, you know, to feel like you're in sync with your plants, to speak to your plants. I'll tell you what, there's a plant that they have here that I know that I came across here in the Bay Area. It's a purple type. It has purple petals on it, but it's more of a shrub. When I put that petal in my hand and I hold my hand out, stretching my hand out, just holding it there, just letting the petal rest on the palm of my hand, the vibrations I feel from that particular petal. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I love that plant, dude. I think it's beautiful. You know, when I was younger, I always thought, man, when I get my own place, I'm going to put a fucking plant right in my living room. So everybody who comes in gets to see how pretty that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shit, marijuana doesn't raise any hell. I mean, I don't know. You know, it doesn't.
It's the safest drug there is.
Yes, my daughter smokes it. I don't say anything to her. She smokes the hell out of it. I'm like, oh, okay, well.
It's way safer than alcohol. It's safer than fucking aspirin, man.
It's safer than white willow?
Than what?
White willow is safer than that? Aspirin.
Aspirin is safer than aspirin.
Yeah. Safer than Bufferin, I believe, or something like that.
I'm telling you, more people die from taking aspirin than die from cannabis. That's for a guarantee.
That's real crazy.
Yeah.
That's real crazy.
I mean, nobody ever dies from cannabis. It's the safest drug there is. And alcohol, I mean, like 1 million women get raped every day because they had one drink too many, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they can limit that. I don't care if they limit that. I'll just buy me a couple bottles of sake. I'm good. I got this. Yeah, I got that, and I got marijuana. I'm gonna try to grow some, possibly. I like growing stuff, but I'm gonna look at the seeds and see what I can do there.
Well, I'm telling you, if you go to this website, Grow Diaries.
I wrote it down.
They'll show you. I mean, they just have everything there.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna talk to you again later.
Hey, it's good to hear from you, Thomas. Stay cool, bro.
Okay. Yeah, you too.
See ya. That's Thomas. So I guess I'll play another video for you. Do we have a phone caller? I guess we'll play another video for you. I have a video of, let's see. Kennedy destroying Joy Behar. How about that? I thought that was pretty good. Let's give that one a go, shall we? Clip number 11.
Joy Behar used to be funny. Now she's just a mean old lady who's let her hatred of Republicans eat away at the remnants of her moldy soul like political termites. And now she says this about how Democrats should treat Andrew Cuomo's scandals. Watch.
They should use the Republican model, which is to basically ignore everything like they did with Kavanaugh. I mean, the Republican playbook is let's hope that this goes away and let's not really go into it.
Nice, Joy. Joy, like so many other uninspired liberals, wanted to destroy Brett Kavanaugh so the Supreme Court wouldn't fall out of balance. Is she really throwing out a hypothetical that Cuomo should be protected and abused women, 2 of whom were his subordinates, should have their claims stonewalled to shield a political ally? That is disgusting garbage. Joy Behar's road to senility has been littered with verbal farts that range from pitiful to entertaining to just plain bat guano crazy. She was so consumed with unfunny, toxic hatred toward former President Trump, she called him evil. She mused that all Republicans supporting him should be thrown in jail and flat out called him a domestic terrorist, for which poor Whoopi had to clean up on aisle 666 later in the show. And she also blathered that Trump should be charged with crimes against humanity for his family separation at the border policy. Of course, the only difference between Trump's and Biden's immigration missteps is a mere geographic distinction. With the Biden plan, kids are separated from their parents thousands of miles from the U.S. border, forcing them to make the journey on their own, leaving them to be beaten and buggered by coyotes and other predators along the way. How humane. Joy, at one point, fantasized about having Tucker Carlson, quote, tied up and put in a corner somewhere so we never hear from him again. Well, that's a hot take. I don't know how my friend Meghan McCain can sit through that show every day, because getting hit with droplets of Joy's tired and partisan word vomit would be enough to make me call in sick. And that's the memo.
I thought that was pretty good. I thought she got right to the chase. Talking about someone's soul, their moldy soul. You don't see a whole lot of people on TV talking like that, right? So I'm glad to have that girl. She doesn't seem to be like owned by anyone so much. You know, you can tell she does little things that are like, oh, you didn't have to say that. Like, I don't know. She seems to be, what did I play yesterday? I played something about, the guy who was talking about Iran and how if Iran was, how Iran has us surrounded on all sides, and Iran has ships off of our coast and they're threatening to bomb us every single day. If you guys remember that, and then the guy that was the conservative on that panel, you can just see his like fumes coming out of his head. He's like, "Well, God, thank God it's not like that." and Kennedy said something like, "Yes, hallelujah." She agreed. She agreed with him. The neocon fuck who loves endless wars. Not that that's who she is, but I thought it was weird that she kind of gave him support. And she does little shit like that I'm like, hey, Israel sucks. What's your problem? Because we all know that. Okay, drone, aircraft, police. No one's calling. You guys understand this is a call-in show, right? Just making sure. Okay, so I have a story about drones at airports. You guys, or drones with, like fucking around with aircraft. And I think they're talking about the little personal size ones. And I have a story about Congress canceling work tomorrow, if you want to see that. Or I have a couple other things, but I have one about the DC riots and another one about the Iraq rocket attack. But what I'd really like to do is take some phone calls. So, and Craig has said anybody who calls, if you want to get a media package, a Mox News media package, which means vinyl stickers and a My Cock for President postcard and Mox News business cards, he will send that out to you in the mail, because knowledge is free. He'll send those out to you in the mail. If you'd like one, just call the number below and let Craig know. He said any of the phone callers can get a Mox News media package. And on the back of this, it says, top 5 reasons to vote for my cock. In case anybody's wondering what's on the back. Top 5 reasons to vote for my cock. I was going to make number 3... I'll have to tell you later. But we got that going on. So, and I'd love to talk to you guys about what you think about my gardening idea. If anybody wants to garden along with me. I'm glad Thomas called. Hopefully I helped him figure out anything. But he was like, where do you get this? Where do you get this? So I thought, this is a good place to start. I think the Grow Diaries is an amazing resource. All right, so let's see. Okay, I'm going to play a video now. Because apparently, yes, that's what I did to Thomas, right? Was I just yelled at him and hung up the phone on him, right? Is that what I did? Dumb? Huh? Dumb? Is that what I did? Is I yelled at Thomas and hung up the phone on him? You know me so well. Okay, so, and if that's what you're afraid of, again, is that what I did to Thomas? I didn't do that to Thomas, did I? No, because that's not who I am, and it's not what I do. Unless, of course, it's absolutely necessary. Don't make me. Do not make me go there, okay?
Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. Here's a suggestion.
Don't make me go there.
Just don't be
That's all I'm
a-holes.
saying.
Here's a suggestion. Just don't.
She's a bitch, right?
And
She's
that
a bitch,
too.
right? She's a bitch, right? She's a bitch.
All right, I'm gonna do
She's
video
a bitch, right?
on.
She's a bitch, right?
On something here.
She's a bitch, right?
And hopefully
She's a bitch,
someone will
right?
think about calling.
She's a bitch,
because that would be
right?
nice. This is a call-in
She's a bitch,
show, people.
right?
You
She's a
want
bitch,
call numbers
right?
there. I'm not even gonna.
She's
say
a bitch,
it. It's right there.
right?
I know you can see it.
She's a bitch,
So
right?
we'll do.
She's a bitch,
number 7.
right?
Tonight, stunning new testimony from the head of the D.C. National Guard about the delay in getting his troops to the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. He said he was ready to deploy more than 150 guardsmen shortly after the attack, but was then left waiting hours and hours for approval. Oren Lieberman is out front.
From this moment that you see here, it took 3 hours and 19 minutes to deploy the D.C. National Guard to help secure the Capitol. At 1:49 p.m., a frantic phone call from the Capitol Police to the D.C. Guard, pleading for help.
Chief Son, his voice cracking with emotion, indicated that there was a dire emergency at the Capitol.
But Major General William Walker, commander of the D.C. Guard, says his hands were tied. Walker had guardsmen at the armory, but to move them, he needed approval from his superiors, Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller and Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy. That included for a 40-person quick reaction force that had been tasked to help with traffic control.
And just to be clear, the Secretary of Defense said I could use it as a last resort.
Last resort, right.
But the Secretary of the Army says that I could only use it after he gave me permission.
Some 30 minutes later, as this was unfolding on Capitol Hill, D.C. officials got on the phone with the Pentagon. Walker was on that call, and he heard hesitation and a concern about the optics of deploying troops to the streets of the Capitol.
Everyone is seeing this on TV, and they're not immediately approving your request. And in your recent testimony, you just said, hey, I could have gotten them on those buses and ready to go. Is that correct?
That is correct, Senator.
Walker says he could have had 154 troops to the Capitol within 20 minutes, but it wasn't his call.
The word that I kept hearing was the optics of it. And there was a concern that it could inflame the protesters.
Robert Salisis, Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Security, said the Acting Secretary of Defense wanted final authority because of the sensitivity of deploying U.S. troops against a civil disturbance involving American citizens.
There is no ability for the military to respond without the Secretary's approval for civil disturbance operations.
The Pentagon offered more guardsmen multiple times before January 6th, but Capitol Police and D.C. officials repeatedly said no. Without a formal request for help, military officials couldn't plan for a specific mission until the riot was already unfolding. At 3 p.m., about 90 minutes after the evacuation of the Capitol, Acting Defense Secretary Miller approved the call-up of the full National Guard. Within an hour of the call with Walker and city officials, he moved available guardsmen from the armory to the Capitol later. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley insisted the Pentagon responded with sprint speed to the request for help, according to the Washington Post. They reacted faster than our most elite forces from a cold start, Milley said. It's an argument senators weren't buying.
And so you could have had them there earlier, hours earlier, if it had been approved.
As security at the Capitol broke down, so too did communication. Acting Secretary of Defense Chris Miller approved the D.C. National Guard to help clear and secure the Capitol at 4:32. General Walker said he didn't find out about that approval for more than 30 minutes.
Senator Rob Portman says he wants to hear from both the former acting Secretary of Defense and the former Army Secretary to get their take on what happened and their decision-making process and the timeline of that day. And that was certainly a sentiment shared by many of the senators in that hearing. Aaron, crucially, there are two competing narratives emerging from that day about DOD, the Pentagon that is, and the D.C. National Guard. Critically, those competing narratives are emerging from the Pentagon and from the D.C. National Guard. And that has confused the entire process of trying to figure out what went wrong on January 6th in the response.
Still such an amazing amount of time to go by. Oren, thank you very much.
Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. 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 Here's a suggestion. Just don't be
it's almost difficult to see through the crap, but not if you're really looking, because they're just so blatant. It's, oh my God, these domestic terrorists, the threat level is so high. Nothing is going to happen. Jackie Cat's right. Nothing's going to happen. And I think that I especially, with everything that they have in place, and if this is how it's going to be forever, that won't keep the people away forever. If you're going to keep your razor wire fence up and your military surrounding you, looking like a fucking third world nation coup going on, that's what Joe Biden's election looks like, right? It looks like a third world nation coup happening, where in order to keep this guy in place, we have to surround Washington, D.C. in a martial law lockdown. Third world nation coup. That's what the United States government looks like right now. And again, we can do better. We deserve better. There's just no doubt in my mind that the good people of this country deserve better. And again, this is why we have to stop buying into this left-right division bullshit, because I want to think of it as the good people of this country. And if you don't want to think of your neighbors as the good people of this country, then you don't want to have a good country. You're looking for something to be angry about. Oh, that guy. Oh, that guy. You're just looking for, I hate this place. I hate everything. Stop. Because they are the good people of this country, and they do deserve better. And the more you look at it that way, the more you'll be uplifted yourself. And the more you'll be like reaching out to the good people and saying, hey, how are you doing? What's happening? Because I do that every day to my neighbors. And it makes me feel good. It makes my neighbors feel good, It was so funny. Today, these two guys walked by, and I don't know who they were. I didn't recognize them. One of them had, shoulder-length hair, and the other guy the one guy was like 20, 19, 18, maybe, with shoulder-length hair, and the other guy had a stupid haircut, and a scruffy beard, and he looked like he was, 35, 40 years older than him. And I said, hey guys, how's it going? And the guy with the younger guy with the short hair looking at me, and he turns away, and he's like, oh, fine. And the other guy, he turns away. I said, nice day, huh? And they just turn away. All I can think is, you're not from this neighborhood, are you? Because I walk through it every single motherfucking day. I spend hours walking through it, and I know a lot of people, and they say hi. Yeah, hey, how's it going? Beautiful day. Another perfect Northwest afternoon. It's nice. And, if you don't want it to be nice, then, yeah, turn away and act like, oh, can't see that guy. Because that's going to make your world such a better place. So, I'm just saying, we can do this. We can see each other as the good people of America who deserve better and come together to defeat a common enemy, the only real, true threat to your personal freedom, to your children's future. Not Iran, not China. And they're so going to push this Iran thing now. And you know why? Because the people are beginning to understand who the common threat is here. And they understand it's not Iran. Iran is no threat to the United States unless we push Iran. And then Iran is, like I said, they've been preparing for this war for 50 years plus. Because every fucking day of those 50 years, America said, we're coming for you, Iran. We're coming for you, you evil motherfuckers. And every fucking day, people profited off making war machines. And this fucking looming threat that doesn't even exist. But Iran paid attention, and Iran's been training and preparing for this war forever. And it's not going to go well. Like I said, Iran is no paper tiger. We can't defeat people living in caves and mud huts. And Iran's been preparing, specifically for the United States. So it's really stupid to keep this never-ending wars of choice going on. And don't buy into this fear thing about Iran or China or Russia, because it's simply misdirection. The only real threat to your freedom, to your children's future, is the people in Washington, D.C. and their ever-expanding police state. And anybody with heart should be able to see that. All right, so I have more videos, don't you know? I do. And one of them is about tomorrow. Congress has decided to cancel tomorrow. So no tomorrow, people. It's just too dangerous to have it tomorrow. So we're all going to hide in our hidey holes and understand America is on alert. Under the highest threat alert possible. Clip number 12.
We're also on top of breaking news in D.C., where the House of Representatives has canceled its Thursday session over a reported threat of violence. That possible plot was uncovered by Capitol Police today. They say a militia group may have been planning to storm the Capitol in a similar fashion to January's attacks. We have more details on that plot in just a moment.
A federal judge has now ordered that an Auburn man accused of organizing the deadly January insurrection at the U.S. Capitol be released from custody. Ethan Nordine has been held at the Federal Detention Center in SeaTac for nearly a month now. Well, today a judge in D.C. ruled Nordine can be placed under house arrest while he awaits trial. Nordine is a member of the far-right white supremacist group, the Proud Boys. Prosecutors claim he was the man in charge of planning the January 6th breach of the Capitol. His trial is set for May 10th. If convicted, he faces more than 30 years behind bars.
Nearly 2 months after the deadly attack at the Capitol, we're learning new details about delays to deploy the National Guard, along with a potential new threat. Ray Bogan has more.
I thought the delay was unusual.
A 3-hour and 19-minute delay. That's how long the commanding general of D.C.'s National Guard says it took the Defense Department to give him approval to bring in his troops January 6th. General Walker says he put in the request after a phone call with then Capitol Police Chief Steven Sund.
Chief Sund, his voice cracking with emotion, indicated that there was a dire emergency at the Capitol, and he requested the immediate assistance of as many available National Guardsmen that I could muster.
General Walker says he had 155 Guards members sitting on buses waiting to deploy.
What would have been the impact of sending those 155 right around that 2 o'clock time frame?
I believe that number could have made a difference. We could have helped extend the perimeter and help push back the crowd.
Ousted Capitol Police Chief Sund told senators last week he was also surprised over the delayed response.
No civilian law enforcement agency, to include the United States Capitol Police, is trained or equipped to repel an insurrection of thousands of individuals.
Today's hearing came as the U.S. Capitol Police put out a new warning that states, quote, "We have obtained intelligence that shows a possible plot to breach the Capitol by an identified militia group on Thursday, March 4th. Fox News has learned there's concern about the 3 Percenters, a right-wing anti-government militia movement. Approximately 5,000 National Guard members remain in D.C. to protect the Capitol. Ray Bogan, Q13 News.
So again, when these people are talking about the terror threat, they're talking about the suspected violence that could happen tomorrow, another insurrection on the Capitol. They're talking about you guys. They're talking about your children. They're talking about your parents. Okay? All of you are this domestic terrorist threat because you might say something that is against the government. So, we can't have that. You can't say things against the government. I mean, what do you think this is, 1776 or something? You can't say things against the government. That's the fucking government that the people in 1776 kicked the fuck out of this country. You can't say things against the government. And they said, you can say anything you want in this country. They rebuilt the government. And they said, you first and foremost, you can say anything you want in this country. And second, no one's ever going to take that right from you. And every single day, these people in Washington, D.C., and their ever-expanding police state, they try and chip away at that freedom. And you all know it. And again, I'd love to talk if you guys want to talk. Otherwise, I'm going to play videos because that's what I do when there is no one to talk with. Otherwise, it just would seem like me rambling on. Not that I don't mind rambling on here and there for a minute or two, because I have things that I want to make sure you guys hear. But I don't want to just sit here, if you want to call, the number's right there on the screen. It's 805-669-6397. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to talk about the gardening idea, if you guys want to grow along with Moxie. Hey, Craig! Do you have Woolco's address? Hello, caller.
Hello, my name is Stephen. I've called in the past.
Uh-huh.
I'd just like to start off by telling you how you felt about Trump's claims that Biden lost and that he is the winner. Trump is the winner.
Well, again, as I said just a minute ago, it looks like, if you look at Washington, D.C., it looks as if, a third world country has had a military coup. Because Washington, D.C., apparently the only way the government can exist is to surround themselves with military. And that's what they do in third world nations, not in the people's house in the land of the free. So you know.
Well, I'm gonna let you know, if the government doesn't have military background, guess what's gonna happen? Corruption. Just like we saw with the riots, where no military force was available, and they couldn't stop those deadly people coming in. So I'm not sure what you're gonna say about that.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
Oh, is that right?
Stuff you say is complete propaganda, and I'm frustrated. I really am.
Uh-huh. Okay, it's propaganda. It's propaganda. What is it that I'm saying it's propaganda? That Iran is no threat to our country? That the military-industrial complex is spending trillions of dollars trying to defeat a threat that doesn't exist in order to bleed this country dry? What? Go ahead. You be honest with us, Stephen. Yeah, you go ahead, Stephen, and be honest with us.
I've been welcomed and I've been gathered with the Irani community. So I am familiar with the community here, and they're great people. Great people. And you calling them a threat is absolutely ridiculous.
You're
Iran is not a threat.
That's correct. Iran is not a threat at all.
You agree with me?
Yes, it's your president that calls them a threat, Stephen.
Pardon me?
It's your president and the people in Congress that you want to defend that are calling Iran a threat. Iran is no threat to us. They're not a threat to anyone. It's not attacking them.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad we found some common ground then. I'm glad. And I'd just like to tell you that Joe Biden, President Biden, is doing a fundamental job. He's putting in great effort. And if you're aware, the stimulus check, they're coming in.
No, they're
that's
not.
Going to help a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes,
well, good. I really hope that's true, because you're right. A lot of people could really use a stimulus check.
Yeah. And I'm just here to let people know that if we're going to change the world, we have to change it one step at a time. But I do want to ask you, though, if America has the stimulus check to provide for people, then why can't we continue and provide that check continuously without even after the coronavirus is over?
A lot of people think that that's how it should be. It's called a universal basic income. And a lot of people think that that's a very smart idea.
Yeah, so do you think it's possible, in your opinion, or no?
Stephen, last time you called me a freeloader. So what is it that people are getting a fucking check from the government every month for? What do you think of them?
Well, can you still hear me?
Uh-huh.
I just want to let you know that I apologize for for the comments I made last time. I was a little frustrated with the situation, and it just got to me. It was the heat of the moment. I apologize greatly, and if your audience is watching right now, I apologize to everybody.
Okay.
Anybody that I did upset, I apologize. It was the heat of the moment, and I just lost control. I apologize.
Okay. Good. Nice. So, again, I don't know. I think that, honestly, I think universal basic income is a very good idea. I think it would help a lot of people who probably are desperate for some kind of help. So, if you can help lift up people, it should be for people who make less than $100,000 a year or something like that, though, really.
So do you believe that it's eventually going to happen, like that money coming in, or do you think that President Biden would not accept that to be approved?
This Congress will never accept that. Biden, Kamala Harris will never accept that. Completely unacceptable to those people.
But are we going to forget that Vice President Kamala Harris is in fact a minority, and that we should accept and feel great that that's happening?
No, we shouldn't feel
minority
great.
in the office.
We shouldn't feel great about Kamala Harris. But, seeing diversity is a good thing. But Kamala Harris is not something that we should feel good about. She's a horrible. She's a horrible human being who hates freedom. Your freedom, Stephen. So you know.
But she is black, and she supports Black Lives Matter. So
well, I seriously doubt she supports Black Lives Matter in any way.
Well, let me refer you to the inauguration when she made that speech, when she said for women, especially women of color, that change is possible.
The change has always
Does that
been.
indicate?
She didn't make the fucking change possible. Okay, she is a horrible
Yes, she
human
did.
being.
She's an
No,
example
she
of-
didn't.
No, she
Lots
is
of
an
black.
example of
There
the
have
first-
been many successful black women across this country, and they didn't have to be horrible, evil politicians doing horrible, evil things to people in order to be good, in order to make awesome things happen. Okay, so she is a horrible example. It's just like Hillary Clinton. You know, Hillary Clinton helped make the Iraq War happen, which means she helped murder 1 million innocent people, which means she is she is no one that you should hold up as an example to, you know, oh, now women can be this. No, fuck that. You don't want your little daughters to be Hillary Clinton's or Kamala Harris's. For sure. 110%. They're evil human beings who the world will be much better after they are in prison for the rest of their lives. So we're clear.
Why would you even wish that upon somebody, especially a woman of color?
To be
That
in
is
prison,
horrible.
to be in prison
That
for
is
because
horrible.
they've done horrible things to people in their careers, and the only way to protect children is to put people like that in prison. And everyone talks about how we have to protect the children. So people like Hillary Clinton, who helped murder 1 million innocent Iraqis, they have to go to
1
prison.
million?
They have to go to prison in
Quite
order to
some
make the
numbers
rules.
you're saying.
What are you talking about?
The 1 million is ridiculous to say kills 1 million. That's killing off the population. That's killing off the Iraqi population.
No,
1
it's
million?
not. No, it's not.
Have you seen how small Iraq is?
I know how big Iraq is. Hey, Stephen, I got to go. I got somebody else waiting. Thanks a bunch for calling. It's good to hear from you.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. See how small Iraq. I'm not sure exactly what the population of Iraq was in 2001, 2002, but I know there's like 10 million less people there now. Let's see. In 2002, Iraq had 25 million people. I believe that's what it says. 25 million people. Hello, caller.
Mike.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Shug?
What is going on? Yeah, I'm putting it out there. Nothing's gonna happen tomorrow. And does anybody really believe, like, chatters, I'll look in. Does anybody really believe that anybody's actually planning to attack anything tomorrow? I don't. Like, did somebody read a post on Reddit and get all upset about it or something? Because it sounds like such nonsense.
No, they're getting extra pay. They're getting security pay, like doubles their paycheck. So they're all like, oh, I'm so afraid right now. And every little thing that they can hype up, you know, they're going to hype up. So in order to, you know, have a reason to be afraid. And keep,
no way. Like hazard pay?
Yeah, they're getting high.
Like hazard pay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And there's inside the COVID relief bill, There's security pay for people that are like celebrities. So I don't know if that includes politicians or not. But apparently Kanye West will be getting millions of dollars so that he can heighten his security. Kanye West, who's worth $1.3 billion, needs to be getting...
I heard you say something about this the other day.
Yeah, I played a video about it. Or they use him as an example.
See, I happen to really like it when you play clips, Mike. I think it's awesome. I'm not watching the damn news.
Yeah, well, I try and get stuff that's worthy of your time. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
And you're way better off not watching the news, because it's.
Well, you know what? It repeats after a couple of minutes anyway. So
Right.
It's not really like.
Right.
You
Like,
know.
there's only one or two stories that they cover all day long, so. And
I don't think we're gonna get any free ponies real quick. But a girl can dream.
Yeah. You got a thing for ponies, huh? Well, that's interesting. I don't. I haven't seen. I haven't seen Boothead. What's his name? I'm sorry, my brain's not working.
You know what? Some of the chatters are saying, "Oh, you look like a wizard. You look like Gandalf, or this guy, or that guy, or whatever." You're starting to look like that Boothead guy. It's the beard.
I
think that's a compliment, personally.
Well, I've always loved him. What's his name?
Ask Wilco. He knows everything.
Wilco knows everything.
Drop it in the chat.
I know his damn name. I had it in my head
I
2
do
seconds
too.
ago, and then I lost. Vermin Supreme. Thank you, Wilco.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've always appreciated Vermin Supreme, especially when he was on the stage debating other people. That's when he pulls that stuff like ponies and Tooth Decay is the real terrorist threat in this country, which is
toothbrusher for a long time. I've always had at least a passing interest in ponies. It works for me.
Tooth Decay being the #1 terrorist threat in this country is so much more realistic than the bullshit that they're feeding us now. I just don't know how. I miss him when he's not around. I wish he was around a whole lot more. He should have his own television show on one of these news channels. I bet it'd be hilarious.
I remember when people around here used to say, "Oh, you should come to this rainbow family thingamajig," and I always thought, like, you're going camping? What? I don't want to go camping. I wonder now. Like, he was probably there. I could have met him. I just didn't want to go camping.
I don't know. I'm not sure where he hangs out, but it's nice to go. I like going out and I love festivals. So wherever they're at, if that's what's going on, you can count on me to be there. But camping is not my favorite either.
He had a quite a nice interview a couple of months back on Nerds for Humanity.
Right on.
Which was pretty interesting.
We should write him an email, Craig. See if he wants to come on the show.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? I think he might do it.
I think that would be awesome. Be the Mox News first live interview.
And I love the gardening stuff. I can't wait for that. I'm super curious. I have really got to catch up on all of this seed technology. Who knew? Who knew there was all this seed technology? I didn't know, but I'm going to check it out.
I don't know that I would call it technology so much, but I honestly believe that today's cannabis breeders, the people that are coming up with all these new strains and breeding all the seeds and trying to spread it, like Johnny Appleseed everywhere, I think that they're some of the most important people to the next evolution of the human race on the planet. Honestly.
Johnny Appleseed. Funny you bring that up. I want to be Jackie Mushspore.
I think you can do it!
I'm already doing it. The damn things are sprouting everywhere I go now.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. It's really fun.
Are you putting stuff out everywhere?
Well, I'm just saying sometimes, you could accidentally accidentally pick up something and drop it somewhere, and
That
who's to
makes
say
sense.
what happens?
That makes sense. My friend got a big tube of spores the other day. He's like fascinated about growing mushrooms now, and but he picked out these ones that are supposed to be like the hardest mushrooms in the world to grow or something. So,
Oh no!
so he's like, and it's like the first spores he ever ordered. So he just put them out in the backyard to see if they'll grow or not. But he said like you have to make special compost. It takes like 1.5 years to make and all this stuff in order to grow these kind of mushrooms. Like,
Yeah, I've just certainly seen a lot of stuff like that in forums and stuff, and it seems like a lot of the stuff that you must do, and it's so important, it actually doesn't matter.
yeah, you're probably right.
Because you know what? Because stuff outside just grows, you know?
Yeah.
Just
I agree. That's that's the way Mother Nature has always done it. They just let it do
and
its
trying
thing.
to sort of duplicate that, I don't know. The seed thing sounds really interesting, though, because, like, okay, so I don't know the details of all this. I know they have, like, feminized something and auto-flowering thing you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking, whatever all this is, whatever the details are, it sounds an awful lot better than sitting in a 1,000,000-degree attic of some clandestine house, sorting through your seedlings, trying to pick out the boys.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people kind of enjoy that part of it. Honestly, trying to find the boys and all that stuff, because it's like a little bit extra challenge. But there seems to be something about the non-feminized seeds and the non-other seeds is like there's like this certain bit to it that's more natural or something. It makes the plants maybe a tiny bit more hardy or something,
I don't know. I mean, is this going to be something like how, like, tomatoes have fish DNA or something? I don't know if that's even true. I've heard that. I'm just saying it. I've heard it.
I love
misinformation.
using fish emulsion. When I go outside, I love using fish bits, but the raccoons, it always attracts the raccoons. So I'm like, I have to be careful. I don't want the raccoons getting attached to my flowers.
Okay, so somebody was who was gonna call and say something really interesting?
No.
Somebody was just in the chat. Did they call?
Somebody said they were going to do it.
Extra dimensional?
I don't know.
Was it you?
I don't know. Craig, is there a caller? I don't think there's a caller.
Something about monetary stuff. It sounded interesting. I like that stuff. Our cryptos are kind of doing pretty okay today. Hey, Mike, did you get a Litecoin wallet yet?
Yeah, why? You have Litecoins?
Yeah, you want some Litecoin?
Uh-huh.
Well, arrange it so I can get your address or something. I'll send you a couple for good luck.
I'll make sure that I have a Litecoin wallet, and then I will send it to you ASAP.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you very much.
All right,
It's very
let's go, darling. Play me some more clips. I want to know what's going on in the
Okay,
world.
well, I'll play more clips. You know I'll do that.
Okay, thanks, honey.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. It's good to talk to you. I wish you'd call more.
Good to talk to you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye. That's our buddy Jackie Cat. It's always good to hear from Jackie Cat. And let's see. Okay. Kennedy also did the clip today about mask wearing and how apparently the states, the governors of Texas and Mississippi have decided to allow all businesses to reopen and drop all the mask mandates. So Kennedy did a story about that tonight, and she's this libertarian freedom kind of girl. So I find her approach to this kind of topics quite valid. So I always want to share these things with you, and I will do that now. Be right back.
You ready to feel your blood boil? Because if you love freedom and you just want these arbitrary lockdowns to end, President Biden thinks you're a Neanderthal. Think about what that word conjures up. You are a stupid, smelly mouth breather. Congratulations. Can you imagine if former President Trump said that about people in blue states? Liberals would go B-A-N-A-N-A-S. And just one day after Texas and Mississippi announced that they are opening up 100% and ditching mask mandates, President Biden climbed up on his high horse and uttered this load of crap.
I think it's a big mistake. Look, I hope everybody's realized by now, these masks make a difference. And the last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime, everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it. It still matters.
Well, I guess I'm a Neanderthal for wanting to live free there, Mr. President. Never mind that the lockdowns have crippled our economy, destroyed lives, and caused some of our nation's children to take their own lives. And more, we are learning it was all for nothing. Opened up, lockdown, same result. Take a look at this. As you can see, strict states like California and New York have had the same or more deaths per 100,000 residents as states that have loosened up like Texas and Florida. But the bozos in the left-wing media still think people like Governor Abbott are crazy for wanting to end the lockdown insanity. Watch.
Governor Abbott has lost his mind.
This is obviously a political ploy on the part of the governor.
The only reason I can see is because of what happened in Texas, that someone dropped the ball and they're trying to change the conversation. That's it, a distraction.
This is part of this prevailing, macho sentimentality that strong and wrong is the way to go.
The Texas governor said, COVID be dead. Everybody go ahead and open up. And you get some COVID, and you get some COVID, and you get some COVID, and you get some COVID.
Yeah, they got some COVID, and they got some COVID in California where they were completely locked up. Good job, Joy. And what was Chris Cuomo saying about machismo stupidity? Oh, was he just reading his brother's political plan? So will the move in Texas open the floodgates? And is there any chance states like California going to get back to normal anytime this century? Let's meet the party panel and decide from Independent Women's Forum, where she serves as senior policy analyst, and she's also a contributor at The Federalist. And as Stepman is here, along with Reason Features editor, who has a very cute dog, Peter Suderman, and very big. And former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer, host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, an avid runner, but he's not running from conflict, Christopher Hahn. Hi, friends. Let's start. Hi. And now, should we all just move to Texas?
Well, I think that's why we're seeing this kind of pushback, because we have a federalist system, but that means the states are kind of in competition with each other. And we are seeing such high levels of interstate migration right now that it puts enormous pressure on states like New York and California to loosen their lockdown rules when other states do not have similar lockdowns. It's not just a business thing, it's an individual's thing. And a lot of people are moving. And that puts pressure, that puts political pressure on some of these governors, even if they won't say it out loud.
And the press, it has just had this cumulative effect, Peter, where you see business owners sobbing because they can't open their restaurants, and moms stalking teachers union presidents because they're sending their kids to in-person learning. And now you have states like Florida and Texas where kids have been going back to school, and that means moms have been working. And when everything opens up, they're going to be at a great advantage.
Yeah, I think, Kennedy, that, it's going to be a long time before we really settle on the clear lessons of COVID policy and COVID lockdowns. This is a complex subject, and heat of the moment. Last year, when we didn't know anything, states made decisions without a lot of great knowledge. But we're going to look back, and I think one thing is we're going to learn that's going to be really clear is we shouldn't ever do again what California did. And that if you were a small business owner right now, the worst place in the country to be a small business owner, especially if it's a restaurant, especially if it's a bar, hospitality, anything that brings people into a small space is California. And California has really been the model of bad governance during COVID in a way that is compared to Texas, compared to Florida. I think, we're going to learn some lessons there.
Yes, and the two governors who are having the hardest time and will pay with their political careers, Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo. And they, you talk about killing two things. They killed businesses in California, and they killed old people in New York. They made fun of places like Texas and Florida. The Biden administration was talking about, cutting off tourism to Florida, but they have essentially identical rates, Chris. Wouldn't you rather live in a place where you get to decide whether or not you go outside, whether or not you wear a mask, whether or not you go to a restaurant?
So that's a misleading statistic. California and New York got this virus a lot sooner than Florida and Texas did, and had to make some very difficult decisions with, as you said, without a lot of good information, because this was a very new virus. Florida and Texas actually did do lockdowns similar to New York's early on in their virus, which kept their death count lower than New York's. Plus, they had it for a shorter period of time. So let's look at what happened. Look, I don't think anybody in Texas should want to be the last person to die of COVID-19.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We have vaccines coming. We have vaccines coming.
It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in Florida.
We will be open. We will have herd immunity in this country by the summer. The governor of Texas is trying to change the subject from his failure with his energy grid and his response to 2 inches of snow and a couple of cold days.
Absolutely. There's no doubt that all of these decisions are political. But it's whether or not someone's choices, which politically benefit them, add or detract from the freedom of individuals in that state. And it is a net positive for these states to remain open if the statistics are the same. It's one thing. It's one thing to keep your state closed for 6 weeks or a couple months. It's another thing in November and December and January of just last year and this year to be closing things down even further and shutting outdoor dining.
There are lies, darn lies, and statistics. I do not trust the statistics coming out of Florida where they don't count people who only live there part-time as people who've died in Florida.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're going to get a full accounting of Florida at some point. I have a feeling the numbers in Florida, I have a feeling when we take a close look at the numbers of Florida, a lot more Floridians died of this virus than are being reported by the Trumpian governor of Florida.
I can hear a level of glee in your voice as you hope for that.
No glee. There's no glee at all. I have half my family lives in Florida.
Okay.
There's no glee.
Meanwhile, catch and release is now catch and spread. Officials in Brownsville, Texas.
Stop talking. Stop talking. I don't see any other news television show host who speaks the way she does. I really do like that. And she does other crazy stuff too, and I got a thing for crazy girls. I really appreciate somebody speaking the way she does. You know, she's like about freedom, and you can tell she goes to that point again and again and again, just like I do. I love freedom. I look, if you're going to screw up, you're going to screw up, but you did it living your life your way, not trying to color inside the motherfucking lines. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Craig! Do you have Woolco's address? He wants decals for his soft tail. Okay. This dab is for Jackie Cat because she is so kind to get our crypto donations rolling again. You're the girl, Jackie Cat. Thanks very much, hon. I'm feeling much better now. Hello, caller.
Hey, Moxie, what's going on? This is Dave. I called you before.
Hey, Dave. Thanks
I'm
for
the guy with the die-cast replica store.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, you probably remember me.
Yeah.
Verified News is my my YouTube handle.
Cool.
But I don't do news anymore because you can't.
It's very difficult to do news now.
So, but I was going to say something about the Proud Boys.
Uh-huh.
Well, that and a couple other things. But interestingly enough, like I was getting concerned when the freaking Democrats were burning down cities and peacefully protesting, you know, because they had one in our town, right? And I was like, shit. So I was thinking, man, I don't have anybody to call really except for a bunch of old fuckers. None of them have guns. So it's like, I've thought maybe the Proud Boys have a chapter around here. Let me look into it. So I got online and looked into it, and okay, let's see what they want to join. And man, they wanted like bank account. They wanted.
Wow.
They didn't want bank account information, but it was like applying for some kind of bank or a job, right? They wanted so much information, and I just immediately went, no, I don't trust this. This doesn't look right.
Yeah, that's got government fucking shit written all over it, dude. Government psyop.
I don't think so. I don't want to do this.
Get your name on the list. Hurry up and get your name on the list.
Just to let you know that there was really, I mean, it was really suspicious. They didn't, oh, we want to vet all our members, so we need to know your anus diameter and all that, Just so I passed on it.
I don't blame you.
That was a good idea. Now they're a terrorist organization.
It's tomato. I mean, soon Mox News will be known as a terrorist organization too, if I have anything to say about it.
Well, the other thing is that Steven, was that a girl?
I don't know. I don't know if he identifies as him or her or they.
She was saying a lot of dumb shit. Sorry, Steven, that you were.
I tried to make it so that she doesn't sound stupid. I told him, it's not pronounced Iraq. Iraq. It's pronounced Iraq, and he's like, oh, Iraq. And I'm like, this is, you go and invade their country and kill 1 million people, and you can't even say their fucking name of their country. I mean, it's so disrespectful, dude. It's really strange. You don't say Israel. You don't say Italy. You say Iraq. You say
well,
Israel.
You know what?
Yeah.
I may pronounce it wrong, and I did. It's Iraq to me, but I know
Iraq is correct. Iraq is incorrect. Yeah, good.
But I know where it is on a map. It's just east of Syria, and west of Iran, and south of Turkey and Russia. Well, southwest Turkey and south of Russia.
Well, it's south of Syria, and Turkey is north.
No, Iraq connects with Syria on the eastern desert.
Okay.
Eastern Syrian desert.
Okay.
Which is the western Syrian desert, which is the western Iraqi desert. That big fucking desert where nothing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that. Most of those countries are nothing, just barren nothing. Like Syria, the only place where people can really live is on the west coast regions, and in where the big cities are, because that's where all the vegetation and plants, and where you can grow olive groves and stuff, and everything else is just barren nothing. And so that's just an interesting thing to know. I didn't know that until I started looking into the Syria thing, and oh wow, it's just like a lot of nothing here, between like I don't know. She's looking at a topographical map, and you can see it. The green zone is what everybody's fighting for. So.
No, they're fighting to make people rich. The people that live in the Middle East may be fighting for the green zone in order to take it back for the people who actually live there, but the people, our people that are there, are fighting to make rich people more rich.
Well, yeah, we all know that. There's no reason to be there.
There's no reason. There's no reason to be putting our people into danger.
Bashar al-Assad isn't a brutal dictator.
I don't know that one way or the other, but I do know. Like I've said many times in this channel, on this show, is that when Christians in that area, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Iraq, in all that area, Egypt, when they would get into trouble, when they'd start persecuting Christians, they would all run to Syria because they knew they would be safe there. So if that sounds like an evil country that we need to spend trillions of dollars going to war with, maybe you're not as Christian as you think. Go ahead.
It's not. Assad brought in a new constitution. You can read it online, by the way, so you can look it up sometime and read it. It's a good constitution. I don't think they have the right to bear arms. And the only real limitation they have on speech is that you're not allowed to criticize Islam because Islam is the national religion, the official national religion. So you can do anything else, but you can't criticize Islam. Doesn't mean you can't promote some other religion. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You just can't bash Islam, which is, for an Islamic country, that's pretty reasonable.
Generally speaking, I think for almost any country that sounds pretty reasonable. You know, in this country, we're getting to the point where we're not even allowed to say anything about the government anymore.
He also opened it up. The Constitution opens up elections to other parties besides the Ba'ath Party.
Yeah,
which was a big issue in Syria, because that's like communism, one party rule.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which we're probably facing now, that the Democrats are never going to let anybody win an election again.
Look, it's just they're the same party, dude. I mean, there's no difference between
I know
them.
that.
No matter which party's in control, we're going to get the same outcome, which is these endless wars.
I don't agree with that.
Spying on Americans. What, Donald Trump stopped the fucking government from spying on every single American?
No, but he didn't escalate new wars, and he got rid of our fucking involvement in Syria. And now all of a sudden we're back in there with Biden. So one thing about Trump is he's not a warmonger, and I like that about him. He's a builder. He doesn't want to destroy things. He wants to build relationships, and he's like that. And I don't like everything about Trump. I'll guarantee you one thing I didn't like was
Trump. I don't think that Trump is actually a Republican or a Democrat. Okay, I think that
he's not.
Yeah, because he's been both. Whichever one works the best for him, that's the one he'll choose.
I think he's an American.
Okay, I get it. You like Trump. I get it. But
I
again,
don't love him,
he's. I didn't say you love him. I didn't say that.
I doubt if I would like him if I met him in person.
I'm not making that judgment either. I'm just saying, you know, that he's not really a Republican, you know, and so, but what I'm saying is that they get no matter which party we get, we're going to get the same outcome. If you look at all the Congress members, all the members of Congress, Republicans, Democrats, they're going to bring us the exact same outcome, no matter which side is in control, and you know that. Again, Donald Trump is not a Republican.
I never said he was. Well,
you suggested that he was when I said no matter which side is in power.
The Republican Party is going through a pretty big transformation right now, what will culminate has yet to be seen. So I'm watching.
I
have no faith.
What do you think? There's going to be a bunch of Representative Greens voted in, like congressional queues?
I would hope that we get some Republicans in that will actually represent normal people.
Huh. Well, I don't know what that means exactly.
Normal.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I like hanging out with freaks. I like hanging out with freaks. Go ahead.
Well, I like hanging out with interesting people, but I don't like hanging around with freaks.
Yeah, well, you're lost.
Difference, you know. What do you define as a freak? Me, a freak transvestite. I choose not to hang around with those people.
I don't know what you said.
They don't have anything to offer me.
I'm talking about bohemians who the rules don't apply to. You know,
Yeah, I know. You're a hippie. I'm a hippie. I got long hair. I'm like 1 foot on either side of the tracks there. I always have been, because I also understand economics and run a business, and I smoke weed, and I fucking, but I wanted to really talk about that Stephen person and some of the things she said.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
And one of the things she said just kind of really irritated me. And she, Joe Biden's got us $1,400, and I'm like, oh really? That's all it takes.
Well, I think that
loyalty it's the money. That's all you're interested in, what you're gonna get. You don't care what the long-term cost will be, as long as you get your money and the gimmies.
I wish they'd separate out the check part and just vote on that and not have all the fucking bullshit in there, like Kanye West getting millions of dollars for his security. Okay,
Oh,
that's
really?
that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, all the celebrities are being offered money. If they apply for it for added security because of the COVID-19 lockdown and other issues that are going on right now.
Yeah, they don't need it. That's crazy.
Kanye West is worth $1.3 billion. He doesn't need
Here's the
millions of
problem
taxpayer
with
money.
Well, here's the problem with the whole you're never going to stop the pork, unfortunately. But
No,
here's
the
problem
point. But the point is, if they just cut the check part out, this is the checks for people who are desperate and need it. And yeah, we'll give it to some people who aren't desperate, but we don't want to leave people out. So everybody gets a check. No, they're not. But because they're all fucking crooked, Republicans and Democrats alike. Otherwise, they would just do that. Otherwise, there would be people on the floor saying, "Hey, this is what we should be doing, and how come we're not doing this instead of doing this big giveaway to all these people who don't need it?" And you don't hear people on the floor saying that.
Well, no. That's because
both Republicans and Democrats are the same.
Nobody in the country has longer than a fucking soundbite's attention span. If you try to explain,
you're insulting a population that I like to call good people, and I know there's a lot of smart people in this country.
Say they were bad people.
No, but I know there's a lot of smart people in this country, and not all of them's fucking attention span is that of a gnat. Okay? But some of them are actually able to concentrate and make big things happen.
I haven't been able to finish the sentence. Okay? And I wanted to talk about this thing where it's all about money and the welfare of the country or all the other people in the country, and the short-sightedness of it is that you've already lost your $1,200 stimulus in inflation. Already. It's gone. Like you never even got it.
I never got it.
Okay, well, if you had got it, it's already gone because of the extra money I had to spend, let's say, on food. All of last year, the whole year since that stimulus came out, food went up like 50% on a lot of items. And it cost a lot more to eat.
What kind of items? What kind of items?
That money's gone.
What kind of items?
It's gone.
What kind of items?
Me, just regular groceries. I buy
I'm just wondering what's up 50%. That's all. Just wondering.
Eggs, milk.
Eggs. I pay 99 cents for a dozen eggs. How much do you pay for a dozen eggs?
It's about $1.39, but I have to go to Walmart to get that price. If I buy it locally at the local little grocery store, they're like $3.
Well, that's always how the local little grocery store.
They went up, but they went up from $2.50 to $3 a heartbeat. Point is this UBI stuff, it's debt because there's no production to create that wealth.
No, the fucking war is debt. Okay, the UBI actually creates jobs. Okay, when you give people money that don't have it, that otherwise wouldn't be able to spend money, then they're spending that money, which is helping the economy. It's like for every dollar in food stamps that you give people, you get $1.89 back in economic benefits.
No.
Yes, it's easy to understand. It's economy 1.0.
What happens is those dollars move through hands and then end up back in the hands of the government through taxation. They just move through hands, and that's monetary velocity. How many times a dollar changes hands before the government snags it back in taxes? The problem is when you create currency without production to back it up, the only way you can create that currency is via debt. And that's the problem. Where are these people going to work?
Dude, you're worried about UBI, but not the fucking never-ending wars that created the debt through the roof. that makes it so that they can go, oh, we'd love to fucking start a new infrastructure project, but we have no money because of the wars. Oh, we'd love to give everyone, basic health care so that we could have a more healthier population. But, oh, the wars, we have to spend all our money on the wars. And we just keep going more and more and more into debt on the fucking wars. But yeah, no, we can't give people who needed a basic income because the wars. Come on, what are you new today? And you want to pick on the idea that a basic income is bad? Give me a fucking break.
No, I'm saying creation of capital without production is bad.
Which is what they do with the fucking wars. They just keep printing money so they can do their fucking wars.
They're never going to give money to the people without taking their payment. Yeah, you know that. Why? It's the way of the world. I'm just a little guy. I have no power to change things.
Everyone has power.
But what I can say is if this UBI comes through, you need to take as much money as you can and put it into solid assets. Anything.
Look at, you don't understand. UBI is about people who don't have money. They're not going to put, for them, solid assets is fucking an extra platter of chicken in their freezer. That's what a solid asset is to them. Jeez.
Well, the country will collapse. Nobody will work. Nobody will be motivated to work.
Yeah, because everybody wants to everybody wants to survive on $1,100. Everybody wants to survive on $1,100 a month. That makes so much fucking sense.
I do just fine on less than that.
Yeah, well, so do I. But most people can't stand the idea of a nightmare like that. And anybody who's a person of the world is aware of that.
It's only a nightmare if you put your value in physical, like, trinkets and stuff.
Or if you have a car payment or a house payment or a child to raise.
Why would you buy a car?
Because you have a business to run.
Don't need a car.
Yeah, maybe you like to go to the grocery stores and get stuff like that.
I can go to the grocery store. Public transportation's great. I get a senior discount.
Yeah, everybody should take public transportation in the middle of a plague. That's a great idea. You go there, General.
That's what they're going to do with their... Are you being honest?
That isn't what they're going to do, okay? People don't want to live on $1,100 a month. And anyone who's not new is aware of that.
Then they need to go figure out a way to make money.
Which is what they'll do when they're offered either a free... when they're offered either you can live on $1,100 a month or you can go make money, they'll pick to go make money. And some dumbass thinks they're going to pick the other thing.
Because I know people.
Yeah, obviously you know people. You don't even get that they don't want to live on $1,000 a month. But you know people so fucking well.
Well, do you know them any better?
Of what?
Do you work a regular job with regular people and have contact with the public all the time?
I am here 5 days a week and I have contact with the public every single day.
The people, the internet. Are you out there in person?
I talk about going out and walking 2 hours a day and talking with my neighbors and talking to other people.
Get off your high horse a little bit.
My high horse, yeah. You're talking about people not willing to do anything because they get $1,000 a month. That's fucking idiotic. My high horse.
And take it.
What?
You'd be surprised how many people would just lay on their couch and laze around and take the $1,000 and not work. If it'll pay their rent and their bills.
I wouldn't be surprised. And how many people is it going to pay their rent and their bills? That's the whole point.
Well, maybe you need to get a cheaper place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what they're going to want is immediately give up their quality of life so they can get their $1,000 check. That's brilliant, man. That's what everybody's going to want.
People in this country are soft.
Okay. Again, you're okay. Fuck you. Okay? Do not insult the people in this country. Do not call here and insult the people in any fucking country. Okay? The people of this country are good people. And they're just misled. Okay? And for whatever reason, you want to hate on your neighbors and think less of your neighbors. Okay? That's some fucked up shit inside of you. Okay? Because you can go out, I go out, and I look around. And I see my neighbors. And yeah, some of them don't want to say hi to me. And then they see me. And then they see me. And they start saying hi to me. And they ask me, how's it going? Because I always have a smile on my face. And I'm looking around trying to enjoy the day. See what's going on. Yeah, this guy's doing that. This guy's doing that. I talk about this all the time. I saw 2 eagles today. I talk about this stuff all the time. Okay? And it's because the reason I'm able to do that is because I don't have in my mind how the people of this country are such fucking garbage. Oh, if they just listen to Donald Trump. What the fuck is wrong with you? Jeez. Now I gotta have another goddamn bong hit. Ah! Iran. Here's another video.
And more. But we begin with a story that is certainly hitting home with a lot of Americans tonight. A U.S. airbase in Iraq was targeted in a missile attack last night. An American contractor died of an apparent heart attack while taking shelter. It happened at Al-Assad Air Base in Anbar Province, which is the same base Iran hit with a barrage of ballistic missiles in January of last year. Dozens of U.S. service members suffered traumatic brain injuries and concussions in that strike as they ran for cover and their lives. This is drone video the Pentagon just released from that attack, showing explosion after explosion. That attack last year was in retaliation for the U.S. strike that killed a top Iranian general. The back and forth reportedly brought the U.S. and Iran closer to war than we realized at the time. While we focus on several domestic issues, there are a number of foreign policy concerns that are front and center right now. I asked former Senator Joe Lieberman on our broadcast last night to name the one country he is most concerned about when it comes to U.S. foreign relations. He said, Iran. No one has claimed responsibility for last night's attack, but it comes a week after a U.S. strike against Iran-backed militia along the Iraq-Syria border, and that strike was in response to a number of rocket attacks targeting the U.S. presence in the region. A lot to digest for sure. And all of this is unfolding as the U.S. tries to re-enter the agreement to slow Iran's nuclear program. So with all of that said, we're glad to welcome in former Tennessee Senator Bob Corker to the Donlin Report. He was a member until 2019, also a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, thanks for the time. It's great to have you. Is there any doubt who was behind that attack, in your opinion, last night?
Joe, good to be with you. I don't know enough about it to weigh in. I typically like to know a little bit more, but I would say it's obviously tit for tat, and that's what's happening in the in that part of the world right now. So obviously they've been undermining our activities in Iraq for some time, and obviously the biggest issue we have with them right now is their nuclear program, as Joe Lieberman referred to last night.
Mm-hmm. Does the U.S. retaliate, do you think, for last night's attack? Where does it go from here?
Well, typically, when there is an attack, obviously our intelligence, we try to figure out exactly what happened, but we'll see. I know that what the administration, I'm sure, is trying to do is push back and to keep folks from venturing and doing the same things that were done a week or so ago. But my guess is that there'll be some activity.
It seems to be ramping up, Senator, as the diplomatic effort that we talked about is underway right now as the U.S. tries to re-enter the Iran nuclear deal. How do you see this shaking out? Iran wants us to drop the sanctions. The U.S. wants them to comply.
Right. Well, I would caution the Biden administration. If you think about, first of all, the agreement, as you know, Joe, was made October of 2015. So in another few months, we're just going to be 4 years from the sunset provision ending. If you look at, and I think you know the Trump administration and myself had a pretty raucous relationship. We agreed on some things, we didn't agree on others. The one thing they did foreign policy wise that I think is truly outstanding is the Abraham Accords. And one of the organizing elements around normalizing relations between the Arabs and the Israelis was that doing away with the Iran nuclear agreement and being tough on them. And so we've made so much progress there. There's a lot of economic growth to come out of this, a lot of political pluses to come out of this. And I think them rushing back in to be a part of an agreement that was flawed. A big part of it was the fact that it did have a sunset provision. So look, I hope the Biden administration will be very cautious and be very careful about what they're doing. It's evident that people now acknowledge, by the way, Joe, that Iran was obviously pursuing a weapons program, and that's widely written about right now, but Iran never agreed to that. It's evident today that's exactly what they were doing, and they stopped during the Bush administration for a period of time. But I think their goals are to be in the position, on the edge, of being able to develop a nuclear weapon without actually doing it.
Pope is scheduled to visit Iraq later this week. Do you think that's a good idea right now?
Who is scheduled?
Pope Francis.
I guess faith activity should transcend other issues. I don't know that it's appropriate for me to weigh in. The Pope obviously has free reign to go anywhere on earth he wants to go, and
all right.
That's certainly not going to have any effect whatsoever on these negotiations or discussions around the nuclear agreement.
All right, fair enough.
Here's a suggestion. Just don't be a-holes. 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 Here's a suggestion.
I think it's such bullshit. Such propaganda, contractors. When you say contractors, people think that, oh, those guys are over there building stuff and people are dropping bombs on them. Fuck that. That's bullshit, man. They're over there laying bricks and helping them rebuild the country, and they're getting bombs dropped on them. That's not okay, because that's what a contractor does. But, I guess if you're, maybe they refer to hitmen like contractors. I don't know. Because they take contracts. I don't know. But I think it's disgusting. I can tell you that. I don't think, when we have a standing army and I understand a lot of these contractors are there protecting CIA. Like the CIA can't fucking protect itself. What? Oh yeah, we can protect ourselves. We just need to get an outside military force to do it. That's all. We can do it. Yeah. We just need a couple extra $1 billion to taxpayers' money to shoot up innocent civilians because they got in the way and sweep everything under the rug. Even though it's done in your name with your money. Soiling the good name of America. God bless forever. All right, no callers. If you want to call, the number's right there on the screen. It's 805-669-6397. I have 2 videos left. This is your chance.
Live to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport now, one of 5 airports nationwide that will serve as a test site for the FAA's drone detection program. The goal is to test technology meant to prevent planes from crashing into drones and stop drones before they get close to airports. Over the past few years, several airports worldwide have had to ground planes because of drone sightings. And Cairo 7 also had a close call with a drone. This was about 6 years ago when it buzzed Chopper 7. It happened right in the middle of breaking news, and the drone came within about 50 feet of the blades before the operator landed it and then walked away.
The state cuts off vaccine supply.
This is going to be part of the Patriot Act. The drones thing is going to be like, I'm sorry, Patriot Act 2. This drones thing, I guarantee, is going to be like, oh, this people that we need to watch them twice as hard because they could be taking down jet planes. All they have to do is just hide right outside the airport. Right, couldn't they be doing that now and for the last 10 years, and they haven't done it in those last 10 years for what reason? Because there's no terrorist threat? What did you say? No terrorist threat? Of course there's a terrorist threat. Even there's a domestic terror. We have to fight terror everywhere, even if it doesn't exist, because otherwise it could. These people are crazy. What do you mean a fucking tiger? There's a fucking tiger around here somewhere. I don't see a fucking tiger. I don't see what you're talking about. Fucking tiger! Let's see. Okay, so it looks like I have 2 videos left. Let's see. Wait a minute. Did I play that one? I have one. I have another video from Kennedy where she's talking about catch and release COVID. Did I play that one already? You get the COVID and you get the COVID. Oh no, that's a different one. That was pretty good clip though, huh? About wearing the mask and the closing down the fucking businesses mandate. Hello, caller.
Hey, Max, how's it going?
Fine. How are you?
I'm fine. My name is David. I live in upstate New York.
Hey, Dave.
We're hoping for 50s pretty soon, looking like 30s, and sometimes we get some 40s, but the 50s are nice.
It's warming up here, man. It's I wore way too much clothes today.
Yeah, 50s. I'll be waiting for when 50 hits here. This time it feels beautiful. And the first geese came today. I saw them, so that's a good report. Like to see the first geese. There's about 100 of them.
So that means spring is in the air for sure, right?
Oh yeah, like the first day you hear the geese is like the first day that it's like, oh, it's definitely coming. When they're flying that way, it's like, yeah, that's a big sign. Better than the snow, even if it was 65 and it was the first day you see the geese, you know for sure it's coming when you see the geese.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't like the terrorism label. A big deal today. I thought about you as soon as I saw it, and I said, you know what? I said, this is what Mox has been saying for years. This is what I've been saying for years. This is a very bad thing. This is not cool. I don't want to hear people normalizing that language. It's not okay. It's definitely a path that's going to lead, if everybody's kind of like, well, what if we do this? What if we do that? This is one of those things that you definitely know, if you do this, it's going to lead to that. Like, this is not one of those questionable things where you say, well, I wonder what will happen if we just say these guys are terrorists. No, it's not questionable. We know what's going to happen. Pretty soon it's me and you and everybody else. Anybody who doesn't, want to conform.
That's what I keep saying, when they're saying terrorists, they're talking about you. And I'm not talking about you, Dave. I mean, like all of you. When they say that word terrorist, they're talking about you. I mean it wholeheartedly, with my whole being. I'm being as honest I know how to be. When they say the word terrorist, they're thinking of you. I mean, all of you.
Yeah. They're talking about your child who's in school and decides he doesn't want to take the test. He's a terrorist. In the Middle East, like you were also mentioning, these contractors, anybody who is, I think it was anybody who was 8 or 9 years old and is I don't even know if they were saying they were male or female. They were automatically labeling them a terrorist if they were killed in any attack.
Yeah.
Or a combatant.
Yeah.
Like they were labeling them, oh, this is a combatant.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, that's a 9-year-old kid, and you bombed his whole, neighborhood or whatever, and you're saying that's a combatant without any proof or anything whatsoever. So when they start labeling anybody a combatant or a terrorist or a
especially when they start doing that to Americans.
Oh my God! If that's coming back here, you're done. I mean, this isn't any. There's not. Here's my whole thing lately has been like, we went out into the world and we said, oh, we're going to do this experiment, and it is an experiment. Originally, this is an experiment. It's a democracy experiment. No monarchs. And no popes. That's it. No church in the government, and no monarchy. So, and they kept saying it over and over, like, we don't do kings. Yeah, that's exactly right. We don't have kings and we don't have popes. So no religion gets a special law. There's no state religion here. It's a secular democracy, period, end of story. That's not a hard concept. But immediately it becomes this thing where when we go overseas and we start, meddling in all these other countries' business, and we get involved in all these skirmishes and all this stuff, and now it constantly comes home to roost, and all our tactics and all our aggression, sooner or later, and even as a person, any person who does this, they're going to face the same thing in their life, just as our country does. If our country goes and acts like a person and says, well, I just want to do this right now, well, you're going to, and here it is. Now you're the terrorist. So, I mean, to me...
There's basic laws of this existence, like gravity, and for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That's one of the basic laws of physics in this world. So if you do violence, violence is coming back your direction.
Yeah. If you start dishing it out, you're gonna have to do it yourself. In other words, you better have a clean house if you're gonna start dispensing soap. I'm not down with it. I don't really want to have a clean house, and I don't want to dispense soap, and I don't think humanity is in any position, anybody on the earth is in position to do that, and I think everybody should just, if you engage people with trade and you engage people with a friendly nature, you get a lot more done in the way of, like, if you're seeing your neighbor is beating his wife, right? You want to go over there, maybe you want to go over there and shoot him, maybe you want to beat him up. But if you got elders and you take them aside and you say, hey, dude, this is not cool, sit down, have a drink, we're going to talk to you, and from now on, come on, you got to cool it. I mean, when you talk to guys like that, I've actually seen it work pretty good. Killing people and labeling them is throwing them in jail for 40 years for a bag of weed. This isn't going to work. It's stupid. It's just it's a Band-Aid that never's proven it would work. And we got a lot of stuff to do here, man. But I don't know. I just wanted to say that you're right. The terrorism label is absolutely horrible. It has to be completely fought on its face every single second of every single day right now. Like, people need to step up and do that, because that's long range, and it doesn't even, I could say long range, thinking, but it's not long-range thinking. It's something, hey, this is in your face right now. Here it is happening.
Right.
You need to stand up and say no.
Yeah, and these people that are saying this word, they're the real threat to us, because they're saying, they're using this word, terrorist, in order to make you afraid enough to give away your rights, to give away your freedom, so that you can get a little bit of extra security, which is a complete and utter lie, because there is no real threat.
Yeah, they're just selling their job. Like, yeah, you guys want us to do this job? Yeah, that's great. Give us this label, and we'll do our job. We'll double our budget for you. They're looking to double their budget and to gain superiority over other agencies. The FBI is stepping forward, saying terrorist, because they want to maintain their superiority in the agency game. That's all it is. We'll do it. It's kind of like the guy who just is willing to do something shitty to get to keep his paycheck coming. It's like, come on, they know damn well it's a horrible idea. They know it. See, this is the thing. We're just the people. They know this. They know exactly what that word means. They know exactly where that goes, and they're still doing it. And I just think it's one of the shittiest things I've seen in my lifetime, to be honest with you. And I've seen a lot of shitty things. Both of us have. This is shitty because it isn't about us. It's about people down the road. And,
it's not really about us, but there is an immediate risk of our freedom being lost.
Oh yeah.
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 So
it's the right to redress.
Yeah.
It's the right to redress your government. Now they're going to say, well, okay, so and it's very specific in our it's not super specific, but they definitely laid down the intention that you have the right to redress. Now, in the event of let's say you're going out protesting and two people break a couple windows. Okay, those two people can be charged for breaking the windows, whatever, but everybody else, no, you have the right to redress your government, to petition them to peacefully assemble and say, excuse me, this is not okay. That intention, it's not, I wouldn't say that it's intentionally written to promote a fear-based redress, but it's definitely written to say the people have the superiority and you better keep that in mind. And that's the intention in the Constitution, is to say, look, if the people don't like what their government is doing, they have to be able, not should be able or can be able, they have to be able, and there's no way you can ever prevent that. That's the intention. And labeling protesters or anybody else terrorists, that's no.
Which is exactly what President Bush, President Obama, President Trump has done.
Yep.
And now Biden and their ilk are doing the same thing.
Yes, and I think that
no difference between them. It doesn't matter who they are. Go ahead.
That's right. That's exactly right. This isn't a personal thing. This is a systemic push that, really guided by the original overseas, if we want to go to our overseas problem, the first problem we ever came into was saying, oh yeah, let's go over there and protect those oil derricks because we're about to split up some tribes and they're going to get pissed off about the ownership. That's where it all started. And there's no, we're just protecting oil and different things for corporations. Labeling these people contractors, and I don't think everything's come out yet. I think we're going to find out in the months going forward my question, this is just me, my question is, how many people are over there that you're going to label a contractor that we have to protect? Because again, this goes back to the original thing of
I think there's 3 or 4 times as many contractors in Afghanistan right now as there are U.S. soldiers.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. That they said, well, we're down to 3,000 troops,
Right.
but we have 18,000 contractors.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait, yeah, and some of these guys actually might be, like infrastructure guys, but that's a pretty small minority. I think the majority are mercenaries that got out of the military and are now getting a big fat paycheck and drugs and whatever else.
Some of them aren't builders. They're not. If they were being referred to as contractors, they're paid mercenaries.
No.
Yeah.
There was a huge push for these massive facilities that were training people to become security contractors all up and down the United States for the last 10 years. And that went back, like you say, goes across all the presidencies. These facilities were slowly put in and funded, and these guys are slowly get access, and, oh, it's a good option. This will save, it saves their political face, while at the same time serving the needs of their lobbyists.
Well,
And
it makes them look like they're bringing the troops home as they increase the troop
Yeah.
level in reality.
Yeah, as long as he's not in a uniform, who cares how many died, right? Oh, isn't that tragic? We got to go help these people. They're innocent civilians. Now they're innocent civilians instead of, oh my God, you killed a troop. So it's the same shit. They're just changing the face, and it's stupid. No, it's not.
It's horrible.
You don't need to do that.
It's horrible propaganda is what it is.
Yeah, I don't need to beat you up to trade you a ham sandwich for a glass of apple juice, right?
No.
I mean, if I came to your house and you had like 4 gallons of apple juice, but I got all this ham sandwiches, you might say, man, that's a good trade. Yeah, I'll give you one.
Well, now I want a fucking ham sandwich. Thanks a lot, Dave. All right, hey, Dave, I got to go. I got to go take a leak. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Good to hear from you.
All right,
bye. Okay, I'm going to play a video for you guys, and I'll be right back. Hold on just a minute. This is the other half of that Kennedy interview that I played earlier. This part, she's talking about, catch and release COVID. I think you'll like it.
No glee. There's no glee at all. I have half my
talking.
family lives in Florida.
Okay.
There's no glee.
Meanwhile, catch and release is now catch and spread. Officials in Brownsville, Texas, say 108 migrants who crossed the border illegally were released by Border Patrol into the state after testing positive for COVID-19. Some then got on buses and told reporters they were heading to New Jersey, Maryland, and other destinations across the country. That doesn't sound safe, but the Biden administration says there's nothing to see here. What, you guys?
While their cases are being adjudicated, testing for COVID-19 is done at the state and local level. Our guidance, regardless of status, is testing positive for COVID-19 or experiencing COVID-like symptoms is to isolate, continue to social distance, wear a mask.
Yeah, they're going to do all those things. You're probably right. Yeah, I've traveled several thousand miles over a number of days. I've been harassed, beaten, starved. I'm dying of dehydration. But you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to socially distance. I'm going to take my gold doubloons and just hang out in the Four Seasons. That's probably going to happen. So the press secretary passing the buck again. But isn't this the opposite of stopping the spread? Inez?
Well, what's really fair is that they should apply the same rules to illegal aliens coming into this country as they do to American citizens who are recrossing the border after being in a foreign country. Actually, our sister organization, Independent Women's Voice, has a petition up about this, just asking the very basic thing. You said these decisions are political. Well, this sure looks political when they're not applying the same rules to illegal aliens coming across the border as they are to American citizens who are flying in after visiting another country. I don't see how you can justify that disparity on the basis of public health. You either believe in these measures or you don't, and that's the big debate we had the last segment. But there's no justification other than pure politics for applying them to one category of people, American citizens, and not applying them to another category of people, illegal aliens.
Yeah, and I don't think it's unreasonable, Peter, to have a uniform set of standards regarding movement. And, you know, a test is not a vaccination. They know that, right?
So I think Inez is right that the lack of uniform standards, the lack of kind of consistency as these standards are applied is a real issue here. But that's a problem with the standards much more, I think, than it is a problem with the people. And, you know, the folks who are coming here who want to work, who want to be Americans, if they want to, they can't go through a regularized, ordinary system and become Americans easily. It's almost, the process is insane and impossible.
Amen.
And then once here, they're illegal, as you said, and that means that they're going to be taking more risks. And so one of the ways that we can address these issues, and one of the ways that we can help these people, is by making it easier for people to come here legally and be out in the open.
You can't, I mean, I feel like a broken record, Chris, because you can't do that unless you change the laws. And executive edicts from one administration to the other, that's not changing the laws. That's not fixing a system that has created a magnet for unaccompanied minors. And, you know, it's like there are family separations. Okay, we're going to talk about that later. I know.
Look, you know what? I love coming on when there's somebody from Reason magazine on, because I almost agree with everything that they say on topics like this.
Because they're smart. They're the smartest people in politics.
And I read Reason. It's a great magazine, even though I don't always agree with it. They're always well thought out. And I just want to say, we do need a comprehensive immigration reform system in this country so that we get rid of some of this nonsense.
Even if it's
and
piece
we
by
had
piece.
a bill. We had a bill in 2013 that was bipartisan that passed the United States Senate. That was a good start. Didn't do everything it should have, but it was a very good start. It could pass today if it was brought up in the House and the Senate, and Biden would sign it. So I hope that we get to work on doing that again in the United States Senate. As for these 100 or so migrants who came here looking for work for good reasons, you know, I mean, we're a country that has, you know, several million cases of COVID-19. I'm not worried about peeing in the ocean right now. This is something that really shouldn't be much of an issue. It's something that I know people on the right want to make an issue because
I've heard your radioactive urine kills dolphins. I would advise against that.
Exactly.
I know. All right, panel returns later up. I don't know if that's a term. Later up. All right. Hey. That sounds naughty. Democrats in the Senate.
Sounds dirty, doesn't it? To a dirty girl, maybe.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits.
All right, there's my Boo Bear. And let's see, I thought you guys want to hear that. I thought her catch and release COVID was a good line. And they got a thing for that girl. Her lips are so shiny. Oh, man. I could find that rat hole in the dark, no problem. I'm telling you what. Let's see. I got, if you know what I'm saying. I got a couple of videos. Let's see. I got this video right here. If anybody wants to call, you know, the number's right there. But I got this video, and this is real. You need to see this.
Trump won the election. Among the suspects' possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, Trump's everything. The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but, you know, 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color. His lawyer saying this to CNN. This was a guy simply following the advice.
Okay, so I have one more video about the Iraq attack on the base. Which, again, I look at that and I think, I wonder if it's our government that did those rocket attacks. That would be very convenient for them. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, it's Brandon, man.
What's up, Brandon?
Dude, let me just say this to everybody. If this country can allow 18 or 19 hijackers, right, totally organized, come over here and drive planes in our fucking buildings and shit like that, right? But that's one thing. But I don't understand how a motherfucker on the goddamn internet can sit here and say, tomorrow Trump takes over. Do you see, do you see how fucked up this makes this country look to everybody? We're like, hey, no, man, tomorrow he's taking over because of, I have no idea why.
Yeah, no,
It really shows and I'm not picking on the people that believe that or what the fuck ever, but I'm like, our government shut down again today, apparently, right? The house closed early or some shit, because I'm like, and we're spending $900 billion on military defense, and we are worried about somebody, I guess, in a basement in underwear with a laptop, making shit up.
Right.
Now, that's scary because now look at everybody who has a laptop is now, they are like a Muslim was or a brown person or, whatever. You're a terrorist.
You're a terrorist. You're a fucking terrorist. We're all terrorists, man. We're all terrorists. I think we should all just get T-shirts to say terrorist on them.
Dude, but from my understanding, what Edward Snowden said was they're watching everything we do anyway, but you can't find this motherfucker, this QAnon guy. I don't get it. And, or whatever, or what the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? Like the conspiracy theorists, and it shuts down government. Right?
Uh-huh.
And now everyone's labeled a terrorist. Well, let me tell you something, Mike. I listened to the other guy earlier who just called in, when you got the phone with him.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Go
now,
ahead.
listen, Mike.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot going on to where stuff is getting released about the FBI. And there's a movie called Black Judas or Black Messiah. Anyway, it's about the Black Panther Party. And how the FBI and the Chicago Police Department just pretty much murdered these people, right? And all this stuff starting to leak out, or they're releasing this information.
Uh-huh.
It's funny to me how back in the day, J. Edgar Hoover, who was a cross-dresser, was like, well, the Black Panther Party is a national threat to national defense or whatever, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Now every fucking body is.
Yeah.
So guess what? Welcome to the fucking neighborhood.
There's a movie coming out about Gitmo too.
Yeah.
It looks
everything's a money grab. Mike.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough, that movie. Got Jodie Foster in it. I like Jodie Foster.
Yes, where she's defending the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love her in Contact.
Yeah, I just. You ever seen Paper Moon? But no, that's Tatum O'Neal. Never mind. Tatum O'Neal won Academy Award at 9 years old for the movie Paper Moon, and it's a pretty good movie if you haven't seen it. Her and her dad.
That's about the news agency, right?
No, it's about her and her dad. It's like the 1930s or something, and her dad are like a couple of.
And there's Robert Redford as the father.
No, it's her actual dad, Ryan O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal's dad.
Ryan O'Neal.
I thought it was a pretty good movie. She won the Academy Award at 9 years old for that movie. But I wanted to ask you about this stuff in Iraq with these rocket attacks, right? Do you think, now I know that you probably won't like this question, but do you think that there's any chance that, our own government or people that we're paying are actually launching these rocket attacks onto our people?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you no.
Okay.
And that's the reason why. Okay.
Uh-huh.
When an American has a firearm, because they're everywhere, right? You can get them you can buy them legally. Someone to give it to you. You can buy them outright.
You can find a deserted building that's filled with them.
Yes. Yes. Now, that's how it is with munitions in those other countries that we overthrow. All right?
Uh-huh.
So, meaning, once we invaded Iraq and we closed down their military, now every military base has what they call an ASP, which stands for Army Supply Point. I mean, Ammo Supply Point.
Yeah, right.
Now, in different branches of service, it's called something else, but it's typically a bunker with not per se like you visualize a hole in the ground with all the bombs in it. It doesn't work that way, right? But that's where all the bombs, the bullets, grenades, and everything, the claymores, everything that goes boom or pop is there. Even train and blanks, blanks, stuff like that for training. It's all stationary.
It's all under. It's all. You're saying it's all underground, huh?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's just.
It's just in a bunker. I gotcha.
Well, it is pretty much guarded like a prison compound.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes
And
sense.
it's always armed guards there, which are civilians, or some military per se, depending where you're at. But in America, typically it's contractors or people who work for the federal government as, like security guards, right? And and then your unit goes to the range that morning, and you request, let's say 200,000 rounds, because you got to train 500 people on shooting. You need 500 grenades. You need mortars. You need this and that. You may need some missiles. Depend on what your mission's job is. You go train for, right?
That's quite a shopping. That's quite a shopping list you got there, soldier.
Yes. Listen, been there, done that. Look, so whenever we overthrew Iraq, they had an ASP. They had leadership in charge to protect where all the munitions were at. Well, once we overthrew all thousands and hundreds of thousands of munitions or millions of munitions of everything I just named, rockets, bullets, grenades, RPGs, whatever you can think of, anti-tank mines, right? Meaning, I remember going to the ASP and drawing equipment that was from the 1950s.
Yeah.
Okay? Meaning you have to, push a button to make it blow up. That's a figure of speech. Like, if you put a bullet in a round and it hits the primer, the bullet's going to go off, right?
Yeah.
And so the shit lasts forever until it's ignited some way, shape, or fashion. So once we overthrew all those countries and bombed all, portions of these other countries to where people just took over, they got the equipment. They can do whatever they want to with it. Okay? Now, what you're at, now, I don't believe it's us doing it or U.S. contractors, are doing that. It's just that it's so ready available. It's like in America.
I hear you.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not complicated. It's very inexpensive because there's so many of them around.
It's just incredibly convenient timing. It seems like, Brandon.
Well, I would tell you this. Yes, it's trying to make Biden look weak, right?
Well, not that. No, it's trying to make. It's trying to make it. No, I don't think it's trying to make Biden look weak. I think it's trying to make Biden have the opportunity to strike back harder and make him look strong.
Exactly.
It's not that it's making him look weak. It's giving him the opportunity to look even stronger. Oh no!
Well,
we're not going to take that shit.
But if you look at it, everything is a proxy war. Meaning, multiple countries invest in causing chaos in one country because it creates jobs, correct? Listen, my ex-wife, she works for the Army Bluegrass Depot. You can look this up in Kentucky.
Right on. It sounds awesome.
And they make fucking bombs and missiles and all that. And she's a former veteran.
Oh, I thought they made fucking music. That's too bad. Go ahead.
No, but yeah, but it's an Army depot.
Uh-huh.
And right when I think it was like Obama was leaving, and obviously it was a census across the country. We're going to start downsizing our footprint in the Middle East. They had in charge of this Army depot was a Fulbright colonel. I don't know what branch of service he was, right? And so he pretty much told everybody there that had hundreds of jobs, he said, listen, the war's over. We're going to make less and less bombs and mortar fins and mortars and stuff like that. So they immediately made everybody who had like 30 plus years retire. And these are federal employees. They make them retire. And you had a lot, and think about it. It's when you have a good job, your kid graduates high school, he goes to the same company, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So all the younger people and the people who was temps, you know, working there 3-4 years, trying to get their foot in the door, they didn't re-sign their contract.
Huh.
And then they started like, okay, you're at 20 years, federal time, so we're going to retire you.
Huh.
And what saved my ex-wife was she was in the Army for 10 years. So they didn't touch no veterans that had like federal time with the military.
Huh.
They just made everybody else retire and all the temps. Because you don't need, per se, I don't know how many people work there in Bluegrass, you know what I'm saying? But it's a lot. And it's a lot to the community, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they forced a lot of people that's been there forever. And a lot of the temp people, they just said, hey, listen, your contract's up, you know, in July or whatever, and that's it. And because, you know, they're just not making the bombs anymore. So a lot of that comes into play. Like a lot of people think it's greed. We want to take these other countries over. If America's number one thing is to say, well, war is good for the economy, that kind of tells you how we are. Right?
I think that spells out all you need to know, honestly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and we only pick on countries that don't have nukes.
Yeah.
Or poor countries or whatever, where the illiteracy is like 70 to 50%. You know, just poor countries, and we're going to blame a few thousand extremists, whatever, that live in this country, and they got this terrorist cell, and they have the internet, and they can communicate all over the globe. Well, goddamn, that's the fucking church. The church does the same shit. You know, they have the internet, they can post videos, but I'm not banging the, you know, knocking the church. But I understand your question, but I think that it's funny how all of a sudden he's in there, and now they're fucking with the Democrats to show, well, they're weak on foreign policy. In Iran, if Iran gets a nuke, and this and that, the reason why Iran wants nukes is because they don't want to disappear. That's their country.
They want nukes
that.
Because once a country gets nukes, they're not no longer America threatens them. It's just like they're not on the radar anymore.
Well, you know what? It's bigger than that. If you look at the G8 or the G7, right, and just ask yourself, how many countries have nukes? Do you know?
I think there's 8 countries that have
8
nukes.
or 7. Yeah, right. It's okay. Let's go ahead and count them. It's America. It's Canada, right? It's Russia. It's not Germany, because Germany can't have nukes, and neither can Korea. I mean, Japan, right?
Yeah.
It's France. It's the UK. It's Israel, Pakistan, and India. Off the top of my head, I think I got it right. Hey, Mark News fan, fact check me on that. Okay?
Most people would probably say North Korea too, right?
Yeah, well, we don't really know if they got nukes. They never there's never been whenever you get in that nuclear club,
right?
And
yeah.
people watch you test nukes, you know. But we don't really know. But we know, well, we think there's nukes there. But if there's nukes there, there's high level of radiation. I don't know. But if we're promoting that they got nukes, and if they think they got nukes, they could be. Listen, They can have rockets with fucking, baking soda in it and not fucking know it. They don't know what the fuck they're doing over in North Korea. You know what I'm saying? Shit. And we probably sold them the baking soda rockets. Seriously, right?
I love baking soda rockets. They're my favorite.
But anyway, it's like seven or 8 or 9 countries. But see, all those countries get a seat at the table. And the only ones who get a seat at the table are the countries who actually are worth money. Right? Globally, they economically help everybody else. Like once like everyone's like, well, when's the government gonna send these checks out to everybody, right?
Yeah.
And the American people are hoping that they get this $1,400. But guess who else hoping they get $1,400? A company in another country, because they know with that $1,400 they're gonna buy something. Whether it be a Barbie doll, a television, a set of new tires, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? So whenever this stimulus package hits the American economy, it's going to help the global economy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like all the other stimulus, like we all got trade with everybody, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, but I don't believe, Mike, that we're fucking with like our own. But I will say that there is a push, because it's always a push. Whenever Reagan was elected, Russia backed off. All of a sudden, Russia's scared. But when Jimmy Carter was in office 4 years before him, dude, they took over the embassy in Iran. They did this. Russia was powerful. It's to me, it's just a force. It's all about money.
Look. I don't know how powerful Russia was when Jimmy Carter was president. Maybe what it looked like was Jimmy Carter was more focused on what's happening at home, and then the new people that were coming into power after Jimmy Carter, or trying to run against Jimmy Carter, or being the opposite force of Jimmy Carter, were looking like, oh, look at how much Russia's getting so strong. How come we're not spending more money on our military industrial complex like they always are? So I don't see Russia as really ever having been a threat to America.
There's no.
I just yeah.
Look, let's be honest. The only threat to America physically is Canada and Mexico, because we share a border together. That's it.
Well, the people in Canada are way too nice, and the people in Mexico are way too poor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but America is making a lot of mistakes that a lot of other countries made, and it led to their demise. America is a little more than 200 years old. We're still babies when it comes to Britain, okay, or France. Like Napoleon was kicking ass in the 1500s. Took over Europe, went down, took over Egypt, went over there, fucked with Turkey for a minute, and went back to fucking, France. You know what I'm saying? And then he fucked up when he tried to take over Russia, right? And this is in the 1500s.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe because of that, that's why France wasn't like the global dominating everything, and that flipped to Britain, because Britain is the one who fucked up Napoleon, and they ruled for a couple hundred years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they had apartheid and invaded other countries and stayed there.
Yeah.
Shit like that. But after World War II, every really smart country said, you know what? This shit ain't working. It's costing us too much money. It's not like it was back in the day when they would go to India, and they took over India because they wanted spices.
Yeah. Well, and everybody who speaks English in Africa or India all have they all have a British accent.
Exactly. So again, and America is following the same trap. But see, China's not doing that. They're just trying to make money, protect themselves. I don't think China has one military base outside of China, so they're saving a lot of fucking money, and we're spending, damn near $1 trillion a year on defense. And I'm a product of the military-industrial complex. But Mike, I didn't know what I was doing. I joined the Army at 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I graduated high school and I fucking left. I knew that, hey, this is what, you know, I'm a kid. I need some college money. I need something. I was poor. I had nothing. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
And look at when you're looking around at options and you don't have very many. You know, this one that you took seems like a smart road. You know, for a lot of people.
Yes, it does.
You know, Brandon. I went to when I was 20. I went to get a physical to go to the Navy, right? And I rode in this recruiter van with like a whole bunch of other guys. We had to drive for like 90 minutes down to Southern California and go to this big giant building where they give everybody physicals, right? And
the MEP. You went to MEP.
Yeah, and so I'm there and I went, and I told the guy, he's like, oh, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I think I want to do this, I'm interested in underwater welding, and the recruiter says, oh, awesome. Well, you should come down and, talk to the jobs guy and see what he can do for you. And so I go and you got to take the physical and then you get to go talk to the jobs guy. And I said, well, I'm interested in doing this underwater welding kind of stuff, learning about that. And he said, yeah, that's really not an option. And I said, okay, well, I don't know what else I am interested in. And he said, why are you wasting my fucking time? Go sit out in that room out there. Right? And he told me to go sit in this waiting room or whatever in my fucking underwear. And I'm out there and the recruiter comes over and he says, what are you doing, man? You're like totally blowing this deal. Come on, we're going to get you all set up and taken care of. What are you going to do? You're going to go back and live off your mom? Is that what you're going to do? And he said, look, how about there's a nice hotel across the street. How about we set you up a room in the hotel across the street and we give you room service and let you have the night to think over it. And then you come back in tomorrow and you can figure it out. And I said, and what if I don't want to sign up tomorrow when I come back? He said, we give you a nice room and room service and then you don't want to fucking sign up? And I'm like, yeah, I don't. It's like a fucking used car salesman trying to force this shit down your throat,
Yeah, exactly.
And he says, why don't you just sit here and think about what it's going to be like when if you don't do this, right? So I'm sitting there and this person comes in and says, we have a phone call for you, right? And I'm thinking it's like fucking Ronald Reagan who's going to tell me how bad they need me in the Navy, right? And I go, hello? And it's my mom. And she says, Michael? And I said, yeah. And she says, they're telling me you're going to come back and sponge off me for like the rest of your life? I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, but can I come and hang out at your place for a couple months? And she said, yeah, no problem. And I said, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all, listen, it's just all a card. Listen, dude.
Yeah.
When I joined the Army, I worked at a chicken restaurant. Now I was a senior in high school. It was a Saturday. I come home. I go back to my grandma's house. That's what I was living with, right? Mm-hmm. And my grandmother, her husband, who was deceased, I think I might have told you the story. But anyway, he fought in World War II, got a Purple Heart, fighting the Nazis, right? Mm-hmm. And when he was 19 years old, so the military was big. I knew about the military. I didn't understand it. My grandfather passed away before I was born. But anyway, so of course we're going to promote the military. My uncle did like 2 or 3 years. He wasn't about shit. But anyway, right? So I come home and my grandmama gets the phone book open, the phone number circled, the recruiter called. I'm like, okay. So I call him. He says, well, hey, Brandon, would you like to come in and talk to me and talk about, just some options? I said, well, I just got off work. Let me take a shower. I took a shower. I went down there. I took a pre-test. And he sat down with me, and he told me every lie in the book.
Yeah.
He says, where do you want to be in 5 years?
Yeah.
So think about this job interview, right? To where when a company asks you where you want to be in 5 years, you're fucked already.
Yeah.
You should ask the company, where can I be in 5 years?
Right.
And I didn't. And I said, well, Sergeant, in 5 years, I'd like to be a sergeant in the Army and own a Jaguar. Dude, I did 20 years in the fucking Army, and I made sergeant first class, and I've never owned a goddamn Jaguar.
You still want?
It's too fucking expensive.
You still want a Jaguar?
Yeah, I want a Jaguar, man.
Well, then I think if that's something you really want, that you'll probably get one day, Brennan.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah. But all I ever wanted was a Jaguar. Hey, bud, you okay? Yeah. My son just walked by. But yeah, I mean, and I was like, then years later, I'm like, God damn, like the art, and then like when my soldiers would come in, I'd meet them. I'm like, they were like, well, Sergeant Medlin, my recruiter lied to me. I said, no, the recruiter is a car salesman. He sold you something.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and it's up to you. You know, that's why I took it. You know, whatever, right? But yeah, man, it was ridiculous. You know, but thank God for that Army recruit, because when I went and talked to him, let me tell you how good he was. Whatever him and my grandmother talked about, I don't know. But after I told him my situation and my story with no mother, no father, he said, you know, your grandmother told me that she's not going to be around forever. And that's why she called me. And that's why the phone book was open when I came home from work on the kitchen table, and the phone number was circled with a pencil. Because typically the recruiters get the seniors in high school phone numbers, or the juniors, and they start calling around in the summer,
right,
or, you know, the spring or fall, and say, hey, you interested?
Yeah.
And then they go to the high schools and they get their briefing. All branches of service, Navy, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, yeah, you know, and, but it's the best goddamn decision I ever made in my fucking life. I'll take that to the grave. I'm a father of 5, you know, and I never would have had 5 kids if I never was in the military and meet the 2 women where I have my kids with me, to my ex-wife and then my wife now. And me and my wife now are closing on 20 years together in July.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
I don't have baby mama issues. I've never been that guy. You know what I'm saying? But I believe it's all politics, because it's like, if you know, I'm going to email you something tomorrow, okay? Craig's going to give me an email address. He told me he'd text it to me. But I'm going to email you something and just read it, okay, and see if you can see what I'm seeing down the road. You know what I'm saying, man? Because, like, you are so good at what you do and your topics that you come out about, but there's politicians in there, okay, or there's people in life that play chess, and there's people who play checkers. And the people who play chess are the people who are looking 5, 6, 10 moves down the road. When checkers is just like, let me get a double jump or a triple jump, where I can get ahead real quick. You know? But, you know, if you can understand that. But
I get the difference between chess and checkers.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Like Ted Cruz, he's playing chess. He's been playing chess his whole life. There's no way the Republican Party will vote a man that's half Cuban, his father's from Cuba, and he was born in Canada. The Republican Party's not going to vote for him or Rubio. They're not going to vote for a Cruz or a Rubio. They're not going to vote for Nikki Haley, who her mom and her dad are from India. And she was the governor of South Carolina. Her name's not Nikki Haley, by the way. So won't all your listeners look up Nikki Haley's real fucking name? Okay, because she's married. So you can give her last name Haley, but her fucking name's not Nikki.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And she grew up in Canada. But yet, she took down the Confederate flag in the South.
Yeah.
That's going to piss a lot of Republicans off. So the Republicans are not going to vote. Well, let me back up. The Republicans are not going to vote for a woman anyway. Okay, because it's dominated by white males, right?
Okay.
So now, who is their guy? I don't know, but look at the Democratic Party. Joe Rogan, I'm about to say Joe Rogan, but Joe Biden is damn near on the deathbed. He can't read a Dr. Seuss book, let's be honest. Even the ones that you don't want to be read, he can't read it. because of his medical situation. But America said, we need a motherfucker like this because we tired of this guy over here. Like, you know, and it's been a lot more quieter since Biden has been president. But the kicker is, the Democrats had 2 golden tickets, like Willy Wonka passed out, right? The governor of California and the governor of New York, and they both done fucked up, right? Just like how the golden tickets for the Republican Party fucked up when they elected Donald Trump. So now it's a fucking coin toss. What's going to happen in 4 years? You know? So it's like, who's the next up-and-coming guy or person or woman who's going to really lead the country next? If Biden doesn't mess up, or let's say Biden leaves in a year or 2 years, and then soon as Harris takes over, if that happens as president, dude, that's going to rile up, you know, the right, because as a black woman and her bombs from India, so guess what? They're not going to vote for Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley, I don't think Nikki Haley's going to run. You think Nikki Haley's going to run for president?
Well, you know what? To be honest, she won't get elected, so she can do a fundraiser and make a lot of money and have her own TV show, write a book, be on Fox News.
Right. I'm surprised she hasn't cut a deal with Fox News already.
I think because she know what she signed up for. Listen, when you're the governor of South Carolina, where I was born at, slave state, a port state where slaves were delivered from Africa, Charleston or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? And you're governor, and you're Indian, and there's never been a black person governor of South Carolina because they fooled all the white people there. They fooled all of them, and they just thought she was from South Carolina. And South Carolina's got Myrtle Beach, it's got Charleston, it's got good beach towns. Maybe she's got a hell of a hot tan. Her parents are Indian. She's Indian.
Yeah.
From India. But she's born, we get it. She's first generation, and she becomes governor. And so, and then she takes down the Confederate flag. Dude, ain't no white person in the South gonna vote for her on that shit.
I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, again, I grew up in the South. Not one motherfucker, when all this shit done come out, they're not going to vote for her. She's done. You know what I'm saying? And it's like with John McCain. When John McCain had that daughter that he adopted, and when he was running against Bush, all the people in South Carolina was getting random phone calls saying John McCain got a black daughter.
Yeah, out of wedlock, black child.
Yes, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, black. Well, but they was in South Carolina, man.
Yeah.
It was portrayed as a black daughter, you know. But it's funny how that girl and his daughter Megan look just alike body wise. So it probably was a fucking out of wedlock kid. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no,
his body looks the same.
I mean, he adopted the black girl. And then there was this story about him having an out of wedlock black child. So that was the story. It was not.
Like, I think she's anyway. Yeah, she's from she's not African American. It's like she's from India or some shit. But anyway, yeah. But the thing is, like them two motherfuckers got the same body type.
Megan
so
and
I wouldn't be surprised. Yo, you better look both of them up right now. And your listeners too, they got the same body type.
Yeah.
Same body type, man. Now come on. You know, when you go on a date and they always say, what a mama look like, that's what she gonna look like.
Yeah.
Both them women look the same body type. But that's either here nor there. But the oh, by the way, when you and the last couple were talking about contractors, let me tell you about contractors. Contractors make a lot of money, but they outsource. So they get a lot of people who do the labor job. Like when they're talking about a U.S. contractor was killed. No, that contractor just worked with a U.S. company. Typically, they're from Africa or the Philippines or Taiwan or somewhere.
Huh.
And they're typically making $900.
But those aren't the guys that are guarding the CIA and stuff, are they?
No. Those typically are mercenaries, ex-military from different countries. France, Britain, America, Australia. Yeah, those are those people.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't recruit like from like they don't only recruit from like Western countries for those type of jobs.
Yeah. So, and you were saying they make how much money? The guys from the Philippines?
Like $900 a month.
Huh. And then, the company charges, the private company charges like $1,500 a day for each of them.
Well, I can tell you this, and you can look this up, but a 6-pack of soda, when I was deployed over there, it cost taxpayers $75.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then.
But you guys got them for free, right?
Well, of course, at the Dyna facility, but if you went to the store, to the PX, Post Exchange, and stuff like that, you'd have to pay for. They sell batteries, magazines.
Yeah.
It's like a store.
Sure.
But the manager would be an American manager, and it'd be like like multiple Filipino women that work there.
Huh.
And they'd get like $900 a month. That was their pay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because those people are safer than the indigenous people. Is that right?
Well, when I was in Afghanistan, when I deployed there, the annual income for an Afghani, I shit you not, was like $300 annually, right? Yeah. The Afghans that we hired to come on our base, they clean like the bathrooms, picked up trash, simple stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And we paid them $12 a day. So they was making more than their annual income, but
per month.
And then when they started working for us, they was making like, a few $100, way more than $300 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they enjoyed to come and just hang out half the damn time. They didn't do shit. They'd burn trash.
Uh-huh.
And we always had like an armed guard, and he would like escort. What's called guard escort. He would just escort these guys. These guys knew what to do: pick up trash, clean the toilets. They knew all the supplies were, the mop bucket, and they just go clean up. And every week they got paid. We paid them cash. Well, not we like me, but that's just how the system was. That's how it rolled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they never. But it's not like it's like all these bills that's being passed right now for COVID, right? All these other different projects of all this money going to all these other, whether it be a different country. At the end of the day, all that money goes to an American company. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all these countries need taxpayer dollars to thrive and survive. And again, war's good for the economy. And that's something that a lot of Americans don't understand. Like, I don't understand what it's like, to be a firefighter or to be a policeman or to work at a grocery store. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I've been globally around the world multiple years, and I understand how globally shit works. You know what I'm saying? So we can sit here and say, well, why don't we spend the money here in America? For what? There's not companies that's on the stock market for that. Because you take a town of 12,000 people and you build, I don't know, a $2 million water plant in it.
Yeah.
And it's only going to create 10 jobs. No, have well water. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we don't invest in our own because it doesn't make us money because of how our system is. We're not going to look out for our own because it doesn't make money. It never makes money.
Well, it's very short-sighted, though. I mean, making money, we have to have bigger priorities in life than making money. We really do.
But then again, we base everything off. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Back in the day, you mean to tell me you had to go dig a hole in the ground to find a shiny rock? to say you was rich. That don't make no damn sense. Right? You can't eat gold or diamonds.
But you can
But
do a
that's
lot
how
of
it is.
stuff with gold, and diamonds are one of the hardest substances on the face of the planet. Blah blah blah. I don't really understand commodities all that well when it comes to gold and silver but back in the day they were used a lot more. I think not more, but they were probably more necessary.
A status.
Yeah.
If you see a woman with a nice wedding ring on, you say, wow, her husband got some money and he loves her. You know what I'm saying? But yet you see a poor man that loves his wife, but she has a small ring on. Typically, people be like, oh, we can't love her that much. He couldn't afford. It's a status symbol.
It's not just that. I mean, there's like in the computers, there's a certain amount of gold electronics, right? Like that's what you see. That's what you see in India, where they send all these computers to be like recycled. Is you see these people burning computer parts to try and get, creating all this pollution in order to try and get these little tiny bits of gold out what's left to build the computers. They do, and like in the catalytic converters, converters are getting stolen all over
America.
All over America, and the reason is because they have this metal in them. I think it's called palladium or something, and it's like worth twice or three times what gold is worth. So
yeah, and but you know what though? But the next war, the next major thing is going to be all these metals to where technology comes from, and a lot of that shit comes from Africa. So I'm calling it now, man. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but maybe, 20 years down the road, that's going to be the hot spot. And it's all going to be about mines and minerals and stuff like that.
It's pretty hot already, but yeah, it's going to heat up, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because everybody wants a piece of the pie because they look at everything as a dollar value and just saying there's enough to go around. And I think there is enough to go around.
I think if people don't have to gobble up a whole bunch for just themselves, there seems like there probably is plenty to go around.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at if every American family was given a chicken a day to live off of, right? That's 365 chickens a year. Could an American family live off of that chicken every day? Of course, and every day they get a new chicken, but we are always about weight. Nobody eats chicken livers or chicken gizzards anymore. Or I only want white meat, I only want dark meat.
My mom loved chicken gizzards.
You know what, dude? I eat chicken gizzards too and chicken livers. Yeah, but if I walked in my house right now and I was going to cook chicken livers and chicken gizzards, my family would look at me like I was fucking crazy. They're like, what the fuck is, what? I'm not eating that. Oh, no. I'm like, it's going to taste good. Nope. No one here. But yeah, we all just waste stuff, man. And unfortunately, we're all addicted. And, I don't know, and we're just addicted, and we can't fix it. But I just called in to shoot the shit, man.
Right on, Brandon. It's good to hear from you. I think that there is a lot of addiction going on, but I think it's programmed. Like people are addicted to TV.
Yeah.
People are addicted to buying stuff. People are addicted to Facebook. So yeah. Besides heroin and meth, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on right now.
Well, you know what? This is a good example, being addicted. Why people are addicted to say that all black people are criminals? Because they've been programmed that way.
Well,
right?
I've talked about this. I mean, the in the movies there used to always be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
You feel lucky.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just been portrayed that way where there's some gangsters on the side of the road and they're black or Latino or whatever, Vatos, I don't fucking know.
Right.
You know, or either there's a white guy and he's racist.
Or they're Arabs and they're terrorists.
Yeah, but you know, like my ex-wife, she was hell bent on that white people couldn't sing and white people couldn't dance, and I'm mixed. I'm like, have you ever heard of Travis Trent? You know, I'm naming country singers. You know, like what the fuck? These men can carry tunes. Loretta Lynn, Crystal Gayle, Dolly Parton. You know, but she was hell bent. You know, like nah.
You know, it didn't. See, you kind of get to where you like a certain kind of music, you know, and then if it's not that kind of music, then it's like, yeah, you know, like disco, man. But I'll tell you what, I never liked disco, and then I heard Donna Summer album when I was all fucking high, and I was like, wow, who is this? Because it was great.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's just, you know what? A lot of people, to me, gave the Bee Gees some shit.
Man.
But when I listen to the Bee Gees, I'm like, well, they can sing. The music sounds good, you know, but they gave them shit because it was like 3 fucking dudes from Australia getting off the
Their music is great. We watched the documentary. There's a new documentary about them. I think it's an HBO documentary, and we watched that about a month ago or so, and it's really good. I mean, if you like the Bee Gees at all, it was just a great documentary. All this, you know, live footage and stuff, you know, from when they're in the studio and shit. It was awesome. And I'm not a big fan of the Bee Gees, but after watching that, I was like...
Me neither, but you gotta give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
You know, like Waylon Jennings.
I saw...
That song, the Duke Boy song.
I saw...
That was a good song.
Yeah. I saw Hall & Oates when I was like 18 years old.
Really?
And that shit was fucking... live. And I mean, they just song after song after song was just fucking... They just killed it. I was like, holy shit, these guys are great.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, man, like, I think 2016 I was when I went to see Guns N' Roses on their tour whenever they came back.
Huh.
And my wife got me tickets in the pit, and I was so close. I got good video of like where I'm right there 10 foot from Slash and Duff, and they're jamming and sweat's dripping off of them.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, these motherfuckers ain't missed a beat, you know. And then I went to an Earth, Wind & Fire concert, and I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Huh.
What the hell? These cats are jamming too. But yeah, man. But no, Max, listen, man. Look, I love enjoying, the opportunity that you give your listeners to call in and talk to us, and you give us some time to talk to you. And dude, keep doing what you're doing, boss. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Brandon, I'm gonna keep it up as long as I can. That's how I like it.
I know that's right. Yeah, it's like there you go. You said it best. But all right, man. Well, hey, man, you just keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Hey, Brandon, it's good to hear from you. I hope I talk to you again soon.
Oh, man, you will. Take care.
Okay, stay cool, man. That's our buddy 2 Bronze Star Brandon. And I have, and I'm still, honestly, I'm not convinced that it wasn't an inside job that's dropping these rocket attacks on U.S. bases. Because it's just really, 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 really convenient timing. And, if it looks like shit and it smells like shit, it's probably shit. That's all I'm saying. Smell that shit, baby! You know what I'm saying?
We're going to turn now to U.S. troops in Iraq and that rocket attack on a base with troops. We have images tonight now being reviewed by investigators showing the vehicle where the rockets were launched. And we also have news on that planned trip by the Pope to Iraq. Here's our senior foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, reporting from Iraq tonight.
Tonight, the hunt's on for those responsible for launching at least 10 rockets from this scorched flatbed truck at US and coalition soldiers at Ain al-Assad Air Base in western Iraq. No troops were hurt, but an American contractor died of a heart attack while sheltering from the attack. It's the same base hit by Iranian missiles in January last year, seen in these dramatic images just released. The president now weighing US options.
We're identifying who's responsible, and we'll make judgments from that point.
But an Iraqi commander at the base already pointing the finger of blame at Iranian-backed militia groups, including Kataib Hezbollah. This group also accused of attacking an airport here in Erbil last month, which houses US and coalition troops that killed a contractor and injured several Americans. It triggered the first military action under President Biden, with airstrikes just across the border into Syria that killed at least one Iranian-backed militia member. At the time, President Biden warning Iran.
You can't act with impunity. Be careful.
The US is wary of escalating the cycle of attacks in the hopes of restarting delicate Iranian nuclear talks.
So let's get to Ian Panel from Erbil tonight, where despite the security dangers, the Pope will still be visiting in just a few days.
Yeah, incredibly, Pope Francis making the first ever papal trip to Iraq, something he's wanted to do for years, despite the latest attack, despite the threat from ISIS, the pandemic and insecurity in the country. David?
Ian Panel and our team in northern Iraq tonight. Ian, thank you. And when we come
Okay, everybody, that's my last video for today. And again, I just think that we're going to hear this thing. This is the ramp up. This is the beating of the drums for war with Iran. And I'm really, really tired of hearing those drums. I love a good drum circle, but this shit has got to stop. And it's so obvious. It just comes... You know, again, when I try and explain, you know, they're the same, the left and the right, you know, it comes from both the left and the right. Iran. The media, they're the same. They're there to do the same job. They're just talking to different suckers. So it's really not a left and a right. They're there saying, Iran. You know, nuclear weapon. You know, smoking gun in the shape of a mushroom cloud. I expect to hear that any day. Aluminum tubes, yellow cake, right? Ooh, I like yellow cake. All right, I came here to play videos, smoke fat dabs, and take phone calls. I don't have any phone callers, and I am all out of videos. So, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow, same Mox time, same Mox channel. Until then... Stay cool, because one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool till then. Hope we see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years, more than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.